choose fear. And I know it's hard to see clear. And I know your heart starts racing when your thoughts start making your body start pacing like, whoa, fuck, how did we get here? And why the hell are we yelling through tears? How did this get so complicated? Went from friends to love making, now we're fighting and we're hating. I don't wanna be with you like this. Can we go back, start again for all the things that we said? All the messages misread, all the desires left in bed. We were so close and I miss you, wanna tell you everything like please. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah. I just wanna say all the things that I should have, that I didn't yesterday. When you told me to my face how you wanna be with me, flipped a switch, turned cold, change your feelings in a day, what the fuck? So, are you seeing someone else? Cause I need to know for my mental health. Cause I need to know if I should really move on. I need to know if there's nothing left and it's gone, so what? What do you wanna do? Cause I'm tired of this back and forth with you. It's a high or a low, it's always touch or it's go. You either wanna move fast or you wanna take it slow, I don't know. I don't know how you feel, cause the second that I think that you're keeping it real, you pull away and shut me out like it's no big deal. I was just trying to love you, girl, why's that so surreal? God damn. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah. I don't know why this is fucking me up. Maybe cause quarantine's been fucking us up. I've been trying to find the answers, I keep searching deep inside me. Maybe I'll find something by the end of this blunt. Cause I think you really wanna be together. I know if I was there you'd be chilling in my sweater. I know if I was there we'd be cuddled on the couch. I know if I was there you'd be kissing my mouth. I know if I was there I'd be singing to you, bringing you coffee in bed, cooking your favorite food to rub your neck so you relax and finally let go. Go outside and watch the moon sit on my lap while we smoke. But I also know that this is hard to do. Grow and learn from a distance, but I wanted to with you. So I hate the fact that we're just giving this up before we ever even tried to even see what it was. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah. I just wanna talk to you, but you won't hear what I have to say. I just wanna talk to you. I just wanna talk, yeah.
I am too speechless to encrypt into code words that are far too spellbinding to ever be said. Hold a scorpion in your hands is to hold it with care. Sometimes she feels she has to be loud to be heard. I did my best. Thank you for being here.
Here we are looking so fucking dumb. We both knew what the fuck this was. We started out on the same page, casual sex games, didn't want to get attached. We tried to fight it, then force it, we tried to ignore it, but here we are fucking again. And I know I should walk away, but I also really wanna play. And I know we shouldn't start this up, but I want to fuck my feelings up with you. I want to fuck my feelings up with you. I want to fuck my feelings up with you. I looked
Hello. We are live. Welcome to All Girls Alliance, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We are going to have a full house tonight. I'm excited. So, we've got our Big Brother 23, I guess, recap, kind of. And we have me, Andrea. Good Lord. Amanda, Courtney, Tracy, and Asha all together. Plus, we have some amazing guests tonight. So, we're super happy that you're all here. And thank you to our new followers. We got a whole bunch today, so we super appreciate you. We hit 400 followers just now on Twitch. Yay!
What?
But we have had a crazy week with the live feeds. They touched on it on Friday night on All Girls Alliance with Tracy and Gia and Jen and Bree. But today we get to talk about it with two of our favorite people ever. So we have Miss Danielle Lickey from Big Brother Over the Top. Hi. Oh, you're muted, girl. Hold on. There we go. Hi. We're so excited to have you here.
I am so excited to be back. Night with the girls.
Yes. Yes, everybody has their drink.
Apple juice.
That's all right. And then we have Miss Jessica from Big Brother 21. Hi.
Hey, hello, everybody. Gorgeous ladies.
Yes,
As promised, I have my painkiller. I made it myself to deal with the pain of the thieves this week.
What's in a painkiller again?
It's rum, cream of coconut, orange juice, and pineapple juice.
We should ask Xavier that in the house and see if he knows what a painkiller is, because he's supposedly a bartender.
Right?
I know, yeah. You'd be like, so how do you make this?
Yeah.
See if he knows the right answer.
Right.
We do love a bartender.
Yeah.
Especially a bartender that looks like that.
Okay.
Right, you're right.
One in the house. I think you need to take off your shirt.
Where is he from again?
Michigan.
Yeah. He doesn't.
No. Wisconsin.
Oh, is he?
I thought he was like north, he doesn't belong there.
Amanda's like, come to Jersey, please, thank you.
He's actually signed. He's signed to a modeling agency in Chicago. I found out that one of my girls actually knows him, and it's like, oh, yeah. So he's not too far away from me. I think he might live like maybe an hour out.
Jessica, you're married. You don't get to be in this conversation, okay? You're.
She's like, he's not far from me, so I get to meet up after the season.
Look.
I can.
Yes, I
appreciate.
Exactly. I can always appreciate, welcome him to the family.
Of course.
She's like, I need hot friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe hook him up with someone I may or may not know. I don't know.
Hey, yeah. I do want to quickly say thank you, Carter and Spicy Bricey, for the subscription. Spicy Bricey is subscribed for 2 months now. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. But yeah, I mean, so this week is weird, right? Like for obvious reasons, it was weird, but
a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons, it was super weird. But then we ended up with not so bad of a thing. I don't know. But yeah, so let's get your guys' thoughts on the season. I mean, what are your first impressions so far?
Wait, for starters, this is the first time they're meeting.
Oh, yes.
Pretty crazy exciting.
Yes.
Have you watched each other's seasons?
I watched Jessica's season.
Yeah, I watched Danielle's season
while it was happening.
That's awesome. I wish.
I was already out the house. I'm a baby. I've been watching since I was 10.
Yeah. I watched BBOTT once I got out of the house.
Yeah.
So
it was
chaotic.
Definitely have fun seasons. Fun seasons for sure.
Yes. Actually, I would probably say I liked your season, Danielle, a lot more than probably 50% of the Big Brother seasons.
Thank you.
It's in my top 6 for sure.
I will say that I did enjoy our cast. I was happy to have, even though defined lines. It was fun. It was a fun game to play for sure.
Yeah.
And
I was expecting defined lines, and we didn't get that, so I was like really
Yeah.
upset.
I was hopeful for each season. Like I really want. And then what season did have? It kind of seemed like that.
Probably 14.
Or
Oh,
I'm trying to
gosh.
think what other season. I feel like there was another season recently that it felt like there was defined lines. But
20.
I mean, 20 had a split house for sure, like
Yeah.
the whole time, but it just ended up being a steamroll. Thank
a
you, Wit,
steamroll
for the
for sure.
subscription, guys. We have our first ever All Girls Alliance hype train going on Twitch right now. We've never had that
What is
before.
this hype train?
Yeah.
What is this?
I don't even know how Twitch works. I have a Twitch and I
Me
don't
either.
know how it works.
So the hype train basically, I mean, like when you get like so many like subs or gifts or whatever, like in a short period of time, it starts a hype train, and then they can like the chat can try and compete to get it to different levels and stuff. So like right now we're on a level 1 hype train, and that's never happened before. So
Hey, let's hype it up.
Yeah, right?
guys.
That's
So
amazing.
I do want to talk about, I mean, this season CBS had a new initiative to have 50% BIPOC and diversity casting. How do we feel? Was it enough? I mean, I know that there are, you know, a lot of BIPOC casting, but do we have enough as far as age diversity, size diversity, queer diversity? Like, what are your opinions? Did they cover all the bases, or do you think that it has room to grow?
it definitely has room to grow. For sure. It's not inclusive. So I feel like until it's inclusive to allow disabled people to compete in the show, then like to me there's always room for it to grow. There's not a single movement in that direction. So for me it's like we're always have room to make it better. You can't say that this is a house of people from all over the country, all different walks of life, diversity, whatever, and it's a social experiment and all of this when you cut out so many different parts of our country, parts of the world. Like there are so many different types of people in the whole, like, so I feel like if it were a wide range, then it wouldn't just be like the young people who are trying to be Instagram famous and just trying to get on any TV show that they can get casted for, and it really be what Big Brother, the game, is supposed to be. So I definitely think that there's still room for improvement.
Absolutely, and I agree with that 100%. I think that when you look at the cast now, although it's like 50%, you know, Black, Indigenous, people of color, it's it misses the mark on a lot of different things. I mean, the fact that they were able to do the 50, but now they missed the mark on the age. The fact that Tiffany is 40 and she's the oldest person in the house doesn't really, it doesn't really work, you know. I love her. She's like my favorite person, one of my favorite players. And so I think that they did a really good job in picking more well-rounded individuals, a lot more educated individuals, different people. It's not just one of each, you know, stereotype, you know, it's not one archetype, you know, that I feel like it gets better little by little, but I think that they need to keep on working. They need to be working toward the goal of just like stacking the bricks versus like tearing down the wall and then going back to stack them again. You know what I mean? It's like I shouldn't be the only plus size woman. And given that, you know, Big D is on there this season, which is amazing. You know, I feel like they could have at least picked some people that were, I don't know, a size 10, a size 12. They could have been mid-size. Exactly.
Yeah, there's no mid-size people. It's either one or the other. And it's like there's a range, like a big spectrum, and it's like it's only from primarily one side of the spectrum and then a sprinkling from the other side. It's like no, like there are people from everywhere.
Exactly.
From all perspectives on the diversity casting. So
I was 10, 12, and I always thought I can never be on the show because then like I'm the fat one out of all these people, and, like, out of all these like skinny models. Like that's insane to me. Like, I don't want like to feel uncomfortable. Like, I mean, I'm not uncomfortable in my own skin. So then I have all these like skinny girls in these bikinis around me. It just makes you feel bad, right? And then like, so then it's like, why do I even want to be on something like this?
Mhm.
If I'm accepted, and then people are saying things online. It's just like there's just so many levels of it. But
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jess, I know you were in a clubhouse preseason, I think, with a bunch of like the alum talking about the cast and stuff. I know someone asked the question of like, who on the cast like do you like reminds you of yourself? And I think Tommy was the only person to answer to say like Brittany reminds me of myself. And I just that to me is like the biggest statement of why we need more diversity, because it shouldn't be that one person sees a similarity on the cast. It should be that every single person who watches the show should be able to see someone like them on the show.
Yeah, I definitely didn't see anybody like myself. Like
There's
I don't
nobody
know.
like you, Jess.
Thanks. No, but in a way, it's like how do you want to be how do you want Big Brother to be represented, right? Because some people are using like the census to make sense of it and say, well, if there's this
Yeah.
percentage of, it's like what does that mean? It's like no, it's like no, it's a representation of each individual. Like there shouldn't just be one Asian every 5 years, or every 2 or 3 years. There shouldn't be one Hispanic. Like right now, I don't know. It just boggles my mind. And I was like one of the only Latinas, and I say it because for me, I define being Latina as something completely different than what maybe traditionally America would see as a Latin American person. Like they'd be like, oh, your parents are, Puerto Rican, or your parents are Mexican, therefore you're Latino or whatever. And it's like, to me, it's like, if you embody the culture, there's a culture with this. It's an ethnicity. There's food, there's language, there is different traditions. If you did not celebrate any of these things, then I would consider say that your parents were, it's like someone who was white saying like, oh, what kind of white are you? And they'd be like, I don't know, I'm like a mutt, or like I don't know, I think I'm Irish, maybe German, maybe Russian, or something in the middle. That would be like, to me, in a sense of like some Latinos that are being casted on the show, and that is just and they're typically more so white passing, and I consider myself white passing in a sense, until I get in there and actually start engaging with people and understand that my, like, culturally I'm way different, and I feel that difference, so I think that everybody should, we should be getting people who are straight up off, just like first generation, still have accents, have like completely different, cultural upbringings, bring some of those in, bring black, bring Afro Latinos in there, because Latinos aren't just white. Like they are white, they're indigenous, they're black, they're just like a whole spectrum of things. And it's just, for me, it's like, I feel like sometimes they just look at white and they look at black, and how many color tones can we get in here? And that to me is like one of the major misses.
You know, if we ever had an actual indigenous person on the show? Have we?
Never, not in US.
I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
I know they do in Australia.
And BB Can has,
BB
but
Can.
like not the US.
Can, but like US, have we ever?
Right.
No.
Well, and like that's why people were, were really excited to see Derek X, because he's a culturally rooted Chinese American man. Like he's not, prior to this we had James, who, was adopted and, raised in a primarily white, community and household, and didn't really have a lot of roots to his culture. So just having Derek X on there is a big deal. But then we, go the other side, and we have Alyssa, who hasn't, talked much about her ethnicity at all. But that's, I think Alyssa and Kyland are the only Latino representation we have. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was my situation with Sis. You know, a lot of people would not have looked at Annalise from my season, and everybody's like, she's Italian, and it's like, no, she's actually not. She's not
I remember
Italian.
having that discussion with someone. They were like, "Oh, there's one Latina woman." I was like, "No, there's two." And they're like, "No, it's just the one." And I'm like, "No, there's two."
Yep.
Like, I don't.
But that was the thing. Sis didn't speak the language. She didn't know the culture. She was raised in a primarily like American household. Like, what is the thing? Like, she goes to what is it? Coachella? Is it Coachella?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Coachella. It's not Coachella.
Stagecoach.
Thank you, Stagecoach.
The country one.
The country version of Coachella.
Can I swear on this?
Yes.
Because I would.
Sure can.
I do.
Latinos don't know what the fuck Stagecoach is. Okay. Like, if you're gonna ask a Latina Stagecoach, and I'd be like, is that something that Cinderella was on and it turned into a pumpkin? Like, because I have no idea what the hell that means.
Yeah.
Like. So you know that but I say it not to diss or say anything like that.
Yeah.
But
No, yeah,
it's
cultural difference,
right?
Exactly.
These are cultural differences, and then you end up in like getting into these alliances and getting into these friendships from how alike you are. So she was able to assimilate, just like a lot of people are, because that is her culture. Like, she didn't have to like do anything with her culture. Her culture is Stagecoach, desert. Cowboy
she was
boots,
able to
all
pass
that good
as
stuff.
white passing in the Big Brother house and take advantage of that. And that's where that white privilege comes in, and you get to see it live out on a TV screen. That's why I always tell people
Year
that
after
there's
year
just a
after
mini
year.
America. Like, what else do you expect? Or when people are like, Danielle, you're not watching the show, and I'm like halfway through, this season's halfway through, and there's been an unlimited amount of microaggressions and all of these things, and it's like, I'm living this every day. I'm watching these people pass as this and use this privilege to further hurt myself and other people like me. Why am I then going to subject myself to watch it for entertainment? Like, that's not fun for me. I want to have fun with it. I want to see gameplay. I want to see engagement. I don't want to hear microaggressions. I don't want to focus on that. That's why I come to Big Brother. I come here to see diversity. I come here to see people putting themselves in situations where they would not ever be in any other setting. Like on my season, for example, you walk into the house and it was you could see it. I saw it when I walked in. You could see it when people were standing on the opposite sides of the island. All the white people from the South and everybody else. And that's exactly how it was. And it was like the same, there were no conversations of the conversations that the girls were having versus the conversations that were happening in my alliance were completely different, because they felt like, we're good, we're safe, we got this. Like, the white men aren't gonna come after us. We're the little white girls, like, oh no, don't say anything to me, like, poor me. And they're just able to assimilate and move forward in that. Whereas the people of color in Big Brother are left behind, targeted time and time again, because we can't hide it. We can't pass off as not being whatever we are. And it's anytime we show emotion, anytime we show anything, we're aggressive, we're this, we're that. And it's like, no, I want to come into the game and see other people who look like me, that when I have an emotion, I can come to them. I want to be able to have conversation and know that this person's going to listen to me and say, oh, I have a similar thought with you, Danielle. Like, I can relate to that. I see you. I might not have gone through it, but I see you, and I didn't have that in the Big Brother house. And I know that you probably didn't have that either, Jessica. And it's like, I want to be able to come into this space and see, if I'm not seeing people, I want to either see not a single other person that looks like me, because we're all so different, or like, at least give me a buddy. Give everyone a buddy. Like, something. I need to have some type of connection. And it goes more than just, I'm going to have a couple interviews with you and I'm going to cast type you. It's seeing that this is more than just who they cast typed her as. I'm more than who they were trying to cast type me as. You're more, every single person, Derek X, the people of color that are in the house right now are more than just the people of color being cast typed on the 50% BIPOC of Big Brother this year. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're more than just people of color in the house. And I just want Big Brother to get past the point of okay, well, he's the black guy. He's this. He's that. He's that. No, he's just a Big Brother house guest. I want us to get to that point, but we have to lay that groundwork to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
And I like what Jess said about like the cultural diversity, because that's, I feel like what we're missing is a cultural diversity. Like, I want to be able to turn on feeds and see somebody making a food that I've never seen, and I get to watch them make it. I know how to make it now. I want to see them talking about their culture, their religion. Like, that's why I loved Kesar so much, because he was like one of the first people to speak about a religion that was different than what we had seen on the show before. And he talked about it openly. He openly prayed on feeds, like, and so I want to see more of that. And the fact that that hasn't been shown on Big Brother is such a, first of all, missed opportunity, and a disgrace to the fact that this is supposed to be a microcosm of our United States. Well, why aren't we seeing the cultures of everyone who lives here?
Exactly. That's why it's like Derek, he's more than just the Chinese guy on the show. No, he has so much to offer. Like, yeah, he's that, and I want to hear his story. But, like, I also want to see him for every aspect that he is, you know?
Yeah, that is one thing that I appreciate about the current cast that we have, is that, and I think that it's one thing that very rarely, you know, CBS gets something right, but they did, is that, you know, I think it was Jess that said earlier that there was a greater variety of, like, real people in real jobs, in real, you know, educated people, and so we didn't get a bunch of just Instagram models. We got it, and I love.
Well,
that.
They are kind of some of them are.
Some no,
they're undercover though. None of them said they were.
No,
that's the crazy part.
There definitely are some of them, and there are a lot of those types. But we have people like Azza and Hannah that and Sarah that are educated, and Xavier's a lawyer, like, that are educated and smart, and not only are they educated and smart, but they're Big Brother fans.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge. People that actually appreciate the game. And so
I'm interested to see, like, I know we're all like, oh, this week was such a shit show, and it kind of is mirroring what we're used to with Big Brother, but I'm excited to have those types and see those people have power and get to use their voice and have a say and make, like, already Derek, week 1, he's taking people off the block, and you know what I mean, like, making big. And so I'm excited to see what the people in the house that are there now, what they're bringing to the table as far as gameplay once we get past this, and they get to have some power and some say in the house.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how Kylan and Brittany play in the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to see, because they're neurodivergent. And like my niece, who y'all met last week, you know, she was just recently diagnosed with ADHD. I have ADHD. And so to see how they will play when you, because for me, I have to be away from people to recharge. And so if I'm not able to get away from them, my cup almost gets filled up with frustration. And then that's when I can't get out what I want to say. I get frustrated. I pop off, that sort of thing. And so I want to see someone that's even different play that way, play the game too. And not just, different abilities, different mental health status and that sort of thing. I want to see people play. But unfortunately, it seems like we just can't get past the white Big Brother players, specifically the men, choosing to use racism as their gaming strategy. And so we're not able to see that full diversity of people on the show, because I've looked at some people in the past, probably in the past 4 seasons, that were clearly, had different neuro differences. And so I know that they just weren't diagnosed, but I'm like, ooh, yeah. And so frustrating that they couldn't play again, not just Ian. I mean, even on season 20, there were a couple of people, they just weren't diagnosed. But,
there was on our season there was 2 of them. Yeah. Ooh. On our season.
It was very
like medicated, like taking medications every day. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was frustrating that they couldn't play. And then like people looked at their gameplay as, oh, why are they in their room or why aren't they
Hmm.
interacting with us and why aren't they? But I saw what they were doing. They needed to be
Mm-hmm.
alone. They needed to recharge, and
Yeah,
then they could come back, you know, play the game, that
that
sort of
isn't.
thing. And and filters, and it's very frustrating because I'm watching and I'm just getting just with
Well, I have hopes for that though,
with
because like
yeah,
Gen Z is very open about like
Yeah.
mental health, and so I
yeah,
have hopes that going forward people are more open about their mental health on the show and talk about it openly, and so that we get to see that aspect maybe moving forward.
And then eventually CBS will allow it. Yeah. Because like
yeah.
I mean, yeah, because Tracy, you were talking earlier today, just on Twitter about Kyland and about how difficult it is to watch, knowing that about him, and then he's being attacked for it by
Yeah.
these Frenchies. Uh,
Douchebags.
yeah, that's yeah.
Jerk-offs. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, so we did have a shit show of a week. We did. It was psychotic. It was insane. It wasn't fun to watch. It was, I guess, entertaining in the sense that I couldn't look away because it was like a train wreck. But that's what it was. But the Power Veto meeting was a little while ago, guys, and we have Travis on the block. So
Who's off the block though?
Kyland.
Kyland is off the block.
Hallelujah, gracias
Right.
a Dios, Dios mío. Ay,
Like we have we have Alyssa who is Latina, but she is also the girl that's not going to work with any of the girls. She wants to hang out with the guys, and so as crappy as it is to think about, like, I don't want her to go. I'd rather Travis go because I don't want a woman to be the first boot. We really have a no lose situation here.
Yeah, I don't care anyway.
Yeah, I was listening to what Danielle was saying, and she was saying that you needed a buddy. And I was like, okay, just get it together, get it together. But that, when I watch the seasons and I think about people that are alone, I think about Derek not being able to talk with anyone about his culture, Derek X,
Yeah.
or DX, that is what they're calling him, DX. So he's not able to talk about his culture. Um, I think about, like, for example, I think about Fessy, who really couldn't talk about his culture on the show. It's just that it's got to be when your culture is so much of who you are, and then you get in that house and you don't have anyone to discuss it with because it's so much of a part of who you are. I mean, something like, hey, we got to have some lotion because we can't be up in here ashy. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I need somebody to, two
The hair,
strand
yeah.
twist my hair and that sort of.
Mhm.
And so when you don't have someone like that to lean on, I can't imagine what that 100 days is like. So if y'all want to
Yeah,
discuss.
I would say, like, when I walked in, just like thinking like, okay, here I am by my, like, I think of like when you say like Fessy and Derek X not having anyone to talk to, or us, like you're saying like, oh, someone to twist my hair or something like that. It's like you want to have people who you can go to, who you feel like when you talk to them about those moments that they're genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's someone, like if DX and Fessy were in there together, could they have talked about their differences from the other house guests or from the typical American culture and talked together about, how it was for them in the house and why, when they needed to take time apart to be by themselves and be in those spiritual moments and things like that, and to have each other to bounce those moments off of. But we get so fixated in the moment, like, oh, this is a game, I can't, like, we're all against each other, we're fighting for this money, it's cutthroat, and it is. But there's so much downtime in the house that you want to have people who you genuinely connect with, and you have those relationships in the house. And I think so often week one, you go into the house and there are those people who are like, I'm going to force these connections. And instead of building that genuine bond, but when you go in and you look around and you think to yourself, like, who am I going to build this bond with? Like,
Yeah.
who is going to sit and listen to me? Who can relate to me? Who's going to, you know, listen to what I have to say? And like you were saying, and Tracy, when you're like, oh, I like, for me, like when you're saying I need to recharge, I need to step away from people to recharge. And in the Big Brother house, it's like first thing that's going through your mind as you're recharging is, what are they saying about me while I'm gone?
Mm-hmm.
What's happening while I'm gone? I can't even recharge. There's no space for mental health in the Big Brother house. There's no one's talking about it. So it's all these things that everyone's going through simultaneously, or all these different parts of life that we're all experiencing that we're not talking about and coming together because we're so fixated on cutting each other out of the house. And it's like, yeah, but we're humans living a human experience trapped in this house together. You want to have someone that's real with you, a real human connection in that house. And I think it's so important to really build that bond. I think week 1, find someone who you can actually converse with, because week 3, week 4, when you're really feeling it and you don't have those moments to step away to reconnect to reconnect with yourself, you still have that person that you can go to. And I think that's why it's so important to have that buddy in the house, or have someone in the house that you connect with on a genuine level.
Yeah. And actually, you said that, and it kind of oh, sorry, go ahead, Asha, you haven't talked yet, so you go.
No, that's okay.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I really enjoyed the friendship between Bailey and Devon, because they truly had each other's back in terms of a genuine connection and also a game connection. It's like, as like a Black woman, like just speaking from my experience, like you see some shady shit go down, you'd be like, did you see that? Like,
exactly.
And you need this interaction. If not, you just go crazy. You're like, no, like, I'm overthinking. Like, no, bitch, I fucking saw that. You saw it too, so I'm not crazy. So I just think about that connection, and I just really value it. And it was really beautiful just to see the love and the respect and admiration they had for one another. And I don't know how it would have been if they didn't have each other in that game. I definitely would have gone sideways, especially with Toyota Carsale, whatever her name is.
I was gonna say David.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Jessica, I cannot wait until they have someone on there, or 2 people on there that can speak Spanish, and they just start speaking Spanish.
Girl, I thought when I met Sis, I thought that was gonna be the case. She told me she was Puerto Rican and Mexican. I'm like, all right, it's gonna be lit. And then she's like, oh, I don't speak Spanish. Like, I don't really know anything about my culture. I was like, oh,
darn.
Oh.
So close.
Are you allowed to speak another language on the show? Because I thought that they've I thought I've heard that you can only speak English.
Yeah, we're not supposed to speak another language. They do tell us that,
but you could have, it could have been like things.
Can that be a thing? Because I feel like if you are bilingual, if you know multiple language, that's something that you worked hard to be able to do.
Absolutely.
You should be able to utilize that tool that you acquired in life in the Big Brother house.
Well, they asked me. They asked me a lot of times, would you like to say that in Spanish? Like in the diary room, they would always be like, well, do you want to say that in Spanish, or do you want to say... Well, why the hell am I going to say it in Spanish? And because here's the thing, like, I'm not going to talk to people in Spanish if they don't know Spanish. Like, that doesn't make sense.
They were really trying something in there with you.
That's a little weird, Jess. Why did they ask you that? That's a little weird. That's a little weird.
They wanted you to be like, and they wanted you to like say something and then split to Spanish, then come back so that way they could cast type.
Yeah. And that's when I realized it. It was around the same time. It was around the same time with the whole the Kemi situation.
Which one?
You know, the girlfriend type situation, if anybody remembers that. Yep. So it was literally around the same time, and I pulled Kemi aside and we talked. We talked for a really long time. And the thing is, whenever
when Kemi said something about like they wanted her to flip her hair and stuff, right?
Yeah, there was a lot of there were a lot of ways that the thing is like it's typically what you say. Like I don't want to get this misconstrued and have people think like something different, because what is being said in the diary room is what they are thinking. It is their thought process. However, the production side of it, they they kind of coach you to make it less to make it sound less spacey, to make it sound a little bit more uniform, to make it sound maybe you can say this in a different way. Are you really upset about it? Because if you're really upset about it, then you should probably show that you're upset about it, or or something that kind of shows your personality. In this case, they kept on asking me if I wanted to say it in Spanish, thinking that I just randomly talk in Spanish. The only times I like randomly say things in Spanish is if I hurt myself. Like, instead of saying fuck, I'll be like, carajo, puñeta, like something like that. I'll swear in Spanish. I will say hola, obviously, the whole hola, Julie, like that was just me, like always saying hola, Julie. Like that was a sincere thing. Papi, certain things, but I'm not constantly, like, I never... Like, I'll say my sandals. If I was looking for my sandals, I never call my sandals sandals. I call them chanclas. So at the end of the day, everybody in the house was like, I would always say, do you know where my chanclas are? And people would already know what I was talking about. Certain things. But I'm not constantly just talking in Spanish to people who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Like, that just doesn't make sense. I was like, no, that's not. And then that's when I realized that there was a type of stereotype, or they were trying to put me in in a specific bubble. And that's when I was very realistic about, like, how do I want to respond to some of these things when they say it to me. Like in the house, Jack called me a bitch, like straight up to my face, like during but it was during a game that we were playing at the table. And it was a memory game. We were doing, like, if you went on a trip, I don't know, like, I'm sorry, I apologize because I don't play these games, but I played them anyway. And it was like, if you could go on a road trip, what kind of snack would you bring? And then people would just like pounce on the table, and they would say, I would bring a whatever, a hot dog, a chip. And then you had to kind of like repeat what everybody else was saying. I said a nature, I think I said a Nature's Made, like those Nature's Made honey oat bars. And he said, you're gonna bring that? And I said, yeah. He's like, you're gonna get the car all dirty. Damn, bitch. I was like my face was like, what did you just say? It was just like, but he said it like as if he were a gay man. Like how sometimes like, when you have that banter with like some of your friends, like be like, bitch, no, blah, blah, blah. He kind of tried to make it sound like that, but it sounded serious and aggressive. Like, hell, this guy's going to put me on the motherfucking block.
Shake your bottle all over again.
I was like, oh, hell no. And then I had to, at that moment, I was like, if I read this motherfucker right now, the whole world is going to see me as a person that people wanted me to be, which was that sassy, loud ass fucking Latina that's going to raise hell. And yes, I can be that person, but I am more than that person. So I'm going to show you a different type of Latina, the cool, calm, collective one. And then when I get out of the house and when I have my time and when I know I'm safe, I could give you some hell and tell you something else or other. Thank God I had that moment, because not everybody gets it. But yeah, it's hard. That was probably one of the hardest things, is to try to get past that stereotype, you know?
Yeah.
And what makes me... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, it was something that you had said earlier, Danielle, that, having those week one connections, there's always those people that force it. And I just kind of wanted to connect that to the season, because I think this is the first season that we're going to see where those forced connections, I really honestly feel like the only person that had specifically those forced connections and nothing deeper are the white men. Because
specifically the HOH.
The HOH, Brent, Christian, Travis, I don't really think they connected that well on a deeper level with anybody else. So we're in a unique position now where they don't really have that person and everybody else does.
At first, they hated each other at first.
Yeah. How about them out?
And And it's going to be interesting to see, as this is the first Big Brother post-pandemic, post a massive Black Lives Matter movement, that's still going on, that sweep the nation midsummer. It's after COVID, like after all of these things, right? Like how are these people in this house now? These things have been brought to the forefront of their minds for the past year and a half. Now, how are they going to move in creating these connections moving forward past week 1? So like, I think it's going to be an interesting season. Like I said, I know week 1 was kind of like, oh my goodness, but as more people continue to come into power, I think it's going to be more of what we kind of hoped this past would give us. Like, I'm so hopeful. Like hearing Sarah Beth say like, my girlfriend of 3 years, like that is like, I know your thought process right now, Sarah, and I'm with you. Like, let's go. Let's get this season started.
I do love the queer representation on this season, that it's not just one queer person, like how it normally is. There are several queer people on the cast this year, and I love that.
Yep. I seriously
Am I the
love
only
Sarah.
one that is completely attracted to Claire? Oh my gosh. She's smart.
I really love her. There is a definite attraction there. I think that like I love the type of energy she exudes and smart.
She's smart and quirky, but yet like not like a weird quirky, like very like laid back still.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how she does it. It's like effortless.
Yeah. Definitely seems like someone I would be friends with, like her personality alone. I don't know. Well, we already had Brent saying that he gets stereotyped as a white man.
We've already had performative actions as well, so that's real fun.
From that French fry.
Yeah.
I just say they need to stop. Literally stop. This needs to be the last season from casting these Italian Northeast people, because I cannot take it anymore.
You mean the Great Value California?
California. You are making a mockery out of me and everybody else that represents my little community of my little Italian Northeast, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Why are we casting all these people? Why is Enzo? Why is the California? I'm sorry, I can't do Tommy. Why is this keep on happening? Stop.
And it's all the same people over and over again.
Keep happening.
It's embarrassing because it's like especially, and listen, I've had it with the Jersey Shore and everything. Like, it's always just been like a joke. Yes, thank you, Frank. But like, I just get embarrassed because like this is not who represents me.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
And then who said when we got cast reveal, who said that Brent looked like somebody that you would date, Amanda?
I said it.
Yeah, Courtney. She was like,
I said that.
Apparently he was an alternate for Brett. I'm like this is just gross on so many levels.
And honey, isn't he just walking that same little path? He's being just as creepy and predatory as Brett was and is.
So creepy because he's talking about everyone's bodies and like touching them and like looking at them like while they're dressing, changing their clothes.
He made some really weird comments about Claire. He was like,
and Hannah,
like some. Go ahead.
Has anyone accused him of being a sexual predator yet?
I mean, not
because
directly.
The first moment Justin got naked to get in the shower, Monty labeled him as a sex offender.
Oh yeah,
I remember that. Yeah,
he's not going to ever even get accused of that. He's just going to be funny.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like literally, Justin's getting in the shower, and it's oh my gosh, she was getting naked in front of Morgan. He's a sex offender. Like he's this and he's that. But here's Brent making all these comments, and it's like no one's
calling that out.
No one's gonna call it out.
Wonder why.
Wonder at
all.
But one good thing about all of that is Hannah had someone to go to. So I think she told DX, she told Xavier, she had someone to go to. Imagine if she was in that house alone.
Yeah.
And so, it's just that
yeah. Even touching like he said something to Derek X about like oh, you shouldn't be ashamed of your body or something like that. And
See, and these moments are the most frustrating because, like, especially watching Big Brother Canada, where the production steps in when things happen, like when comments are made that are over the line or not acceptable, production will step in and say something.
what does
Wow. It takes.
mean?
And like, yeah, I don't know. But what frustrates me is that the U.S. doesn't do this, and so they leave it to the house guests to speak up for themselves. But like you've said before, like you almost can't because you have to hold your tongue because you're playing for now $250,000, and so you can't stick up for yourself. You can't stick up for other people, or you feel like you can't because you're going to be targeted, and it's bullshit. And production should be stepping in and making these calls for the people that are under their care.
And it's
that house.
And it's a CBS wide issue because you look at Kelly and Dan Spilo in Survivor. Like, Kelly spoke up how many times? How many times did Kelly say, this dude makes me uncomfortable? He's, being weird. And he didn't get expelled until he made appropriate, like, I don't know if he touched somebody or said something with production. Right? He didn't get expelled until he did something to production. They don't do anything to protect their actual cast members.
Oh my god!
It's we can't hit each other, but we can completely berate each other.
Oh, you just disgusting.
Each but look
it's disgusting.
Look what happened on Bachelor in Paradise. Like the things that happened on Bachelor in Paradise, what it took for something to actions had to be taken. Like
it's just so frustrating to watch. It's frustrating, especially watching because I'm a fan of Big Brother Canada too, and to see the juxtaposition of how much they care about their house guests versus how much CBS cares about the house guests. It's appalling.
I feel like
it's because the producers in Canada, they don't have elevator music between their ears.
What were you gonna say, Danielle?
When I say Big Brother is an exact representation of America, it's like production is our government, and we're just like,
hello, help, we need help.
Yes. Like, you're going to continue to pump your food full of things that are going to kill you and then not give you free health care. Like, no, Big Brother is America.
Well, and then
in every aspect, they're not going to protect their house guests.
Yeah.
And then it's put on a 21-year-old. They'll call you into DR and they're like, hey, do you want to do XYZ about this person that you've been living with now for 60 days?
Mm-hmm.
Really? You're putting it on me?
Yep, that's what they did to Kelly.
Literally.
That's what they did to Kelly.
Y'all remember with Haley and JC and...
So I do have a question for Danielle and Jess then. Is there a protocol for if something happens in the house? Like, are you supposed to tell production, like, hey, I want to file a sexual harassment claim against this house guest? Like, is there anything like that?
If there is, they didn't talk to me about it.
That's unfortunate.
If they do have something in place, it was never brought up to me.
I will say that I had a very similar situation on my season in the beginning of the season, very early on. And if you've seen the feeds, you knew that the relationship between Kat and Mickey was very toxic. And the way that he would berate like a lot of the women in the house, particularly Holly and Kat, during their time in the house. There were plenty of times where I've seen Kat just crying, because of the way that she was being talked to and whatnot, and she would scream, and say a lot of crazy things about him, and at that moment in time, because I wasn't there to see the actual fight or to see what was going on, like I would tell her to kind of, like, just be very careful in the words that you choose, because in my mind, it's like, we're all human, we're all individuals, and you don't want to put out false accusations. Like, because here's the thing, like, we could say things in the heat of the moment. We could say things, being a little bit more dramatic than usual when it's just between us girls, when it's just, you know, between the family, when it's all of these things. But now you have hundreds of cameras on you, and some people don't know how to decipher what's real, like what is you being sarcastic and what is you being serious. Are you really calling him out as being a child molester? Are you really calling him out because you know this, or are you just like spitting it out and saying you're being abused because you just don't like the way he talked to you? Or is it that he's really aggressively doing all of these things? And I didn't know. I felt uncomfortable at certain times where I said, but if Kat isn't speaking forward, if she's not talking, you know, to production about this, like I felt like this had nothing to do with me. And I think that those are some of the things that I full-heartedly hate about being in that game, is because some people take out that human aspect that Danielle's talking about, that you want to have that connection, but then it's a game, and that game aspect closes you off in so many levels, because you don't know who's really fucking with you and who's putting things, because everything's game. Everything there is game. You could say there are people that have said that their wives were dying of cancer. There have been lies about their people, you know, like they'll lie about, you know, who they are, what they are, where they've been, you know, if their parents have died, if whatever, like everything's fair game, and you don't know, right? And so for me to get involved in somebody else's life, for me it was just like, has nothing to do with me. I just want to make sure you're safe. If you feel safe, then you're good. But there was nothing that they told us that said, hey, these are, you know, the
steps to take.
We didn't have knives in our house. Did you have knives in your house?
No, you're not allowed to.
It's because of
what season?
That was from back season 2.
Someone put a knife to someone's throat and was like, "Yeah,
Since then, no knives for BB."
Yeah, that's also why you can't have that much alcohol, because he got really drunk and yeah,
for everybody,
and
like 20 years later. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
it's like, why am I being punished? I can control myself.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I'm not him. Give me alcohol.
You see these, exactly. You see these things and this stuff happening, and it's like you don't know everybody individual, the way they talk to each other, their banter. Like if you know, like I would be like, you can't call me a bitch, and someone will be like, that's fine. He says it to me all the time. I'm cool with it. And
I don't give a shit.
I don't care
why
what he
did I
says
even
to
put myself? Yeah, I was like, why did I even put myself in that situation? Like now he's looking at me in a certain way. So it's such a mind fuck to be in there, and then we on the outside get shit because we didn't speak up for so and so and so and so that we didn't see, or that we didn't really know happened, even though we felt it in our bones, even though we knew something was off, you know?
Yeah.
But we didn't say anything because the name of the game is to stay until you win those $500,000, you know?
I sorry, go ahead.
Okay. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that's why, honestly, Jess, your season was, out of all of the seasons, it was the hardest to watch, because we saw Kat and Holly being abused by Jackson so badly, like specifically like after he had made the switch to Holly, and then the way that he treated Kat, and then really later in the game the way that he treated Holly. Like, as somebody that's been in an abusive relationship, it was so triggering to watch the way that CBS allowed that man to treat the women in the house.
And
it was
for him to
horrible. And then for him to win.
Like
and not even that. I mean, he was also like coddled. He was coddled the whole season too. Like, never in my life have I seen like production give someone 50 fucking watermelons for them to have for their personal discretion. Like, what kind of bullshit is that?
Yeah.
Quite literally. And I think that's what makes me so upset. It's like, this is fucking Big Brother. Put your pants on. A watermelon? Get out. Bye. And it just makes me know that we're rewarding people for bad behavior.
Yes.
Yes.
Because what does it further show to the people who are on the season right now?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's okay that I treat women like that. I'm not gonna get in trouble.
Mhm.
I can talk to them any type of way that I want. Production's not gonna say shit to me. I'm gonna win still. But I'm still gonna be a god, so I don't care.
Yep.
And it's like when production starts stepping in and saying, I'm sorry, this is your first warning. After your second warning, you have to go home. I guarantee you people are gonna start censoring themselves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because we know, like, I mean, we don't know, but from a live theater's perspective, we have seen people go to the DR and change their tune several times, but not for reasons like that. It's for reasons of like, hey, you're sending your game into the ground, so like turn it around, don't target this person. They come out with a new target. We've seen things like that happen on feeds that like it seems like that's what's happening in a diary room, but we've never seen production step in for things that actually matter as far as the health and safety of the house guests.
Yeah.
My thing is, like, they keep on the intercom so many times to tell me to not talk about my own child. So much so that people thought that I was narcissistic and full of myself because I wouldn't talk about my son. Every time I would talk about them, they would come on and say, Danielle, stop talking about that. You can't talk about him.
Why?
Because his dad wouldn't sign the paper.
Oh,
But you know what I mean? But like, if you can step into your intercom that's not pre-recorded to tell me to shut up about my own kid that I pushed out of my vagina, listen, you can step in and you can get on your little intercom and say, y'all need to shut up.
Whitney, stop talking about the KKK.
Listen, this isn't the move.
That one.
This ain't the one. Like, come on, stop them in their tracks, because you know what happens in that moment when production steps in that moment and says, "Hey, this conversation's inappropriate." It lets the house guests know in their minds, which no one has ever told them before, probably in their life, that the way that they're speaking is not respectful. Like, we can live in a house and we can play a game, but at the end of the day, I'm a human being and you're gonna respect me. And if you can't respect me, then I'm gonna let you know. And I'm not afraid of that. I will lose the money, sis. You can take it from me. What I'm not gonna let you do is come into this house and disrespect me and walk out of here and think that shit's sweet. No. So we can go down together, or I'll go out.
See, and I feel like Jess had that.
I'll go out.
I feel like Jess had that same energy, and that's like when she. I mean, and that's why she still is like in the last few seasons has the best HOH in I mean recent BB history because she was the same way. She was like, no, you're not gonna do this.
I was Danielle only when I was HOH because I knew I was safe and nobody could touch me. That was like literally the only time that I felt comfortable enough to really showcase what the hell I was gonna do. I said I want those cockroaches to scramble. I said he wants a pissing contest. Let's see who has the bigger dick. I said all of those things, and technically,
Pre-clip that.
Not been and let's get real. I said all those things because I was HOH, and whether that was HOHitis or whatever you wanted to call it, it was me being safe and me being able, him deserving it and all of that good stuff. But at the same time, it took weeks because what I wanted to prove first was that I wasn't some erratic, crazy ass Latina that they were gonna, end up editing me in a way that was gonna be completely disrespectful, that was going to not show everything else that I had in, unfortunately, because I came in a mindset of wanting to represent a lot of women.
Your is out of this world.
And something that that breaks my heart for us, Jessica, is we have to think about every single one of those moments. When on my season, whenever Shelby was getting in an argument with Jason, neither of them, I guarantee you, neither of them were thinking about how it was going to affect their game in the long run. They were yelling at each other, screaming at each other in the house. And I guarantee in the back of their mind, they weren't thinking of, oh my gosh, I'm going to be stereotyped as the aggressive Black woman who's just yelling and fighting with everyone. And every single time I got in an argument, that's what I thought. Like, this is who you are, Danielle. But I was like, no, it's not who I am. It's not who I am. But we shouldn't have to think like that, because now that puts another layer of mental stress on us, another level of gameplay that other people don't have to play that we do. And we shouldn't have to protect ourselves in those moments. Production should step in those moments and allow us to be who we are truly. Like, yeah, like you said, I'm fiery and it's going to come out. And it did when you were HOH. And it's like, we should be able to be protected enough to have it come out where when we feel safe to have it come out.
Exactly.
We shouldn't have to hold it in and hold this in. And I can't talk. I can't protect myself. I can't defend myself because I'm going to be labeled as this. No, production should be in saying, hey, no, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and
the production should be stepping in and saying, no.
The production, all they have to do is during that conversation, that Frenchie was having last night, all they had to do was push the button and say, microaggressions are against the rules here at Big Brother. That's it.
Why don't they have a recorded button already?
That's all you gotta say.
Why don't they have a recorded button already? I don't understand
and then
that.
Everyone in that room will be like, oh, fuck.
Or literally, but it's like that's where it takes production to be able to stepping in and protecting the people of color, so that way they don't have to sit here and play 2 games at once.
Yep, they don't have to fight that long or risk
the game of life.
like
we're supposed to be away from life, disconnected from the outside world, playing Big Brother, not also playing real world and Big Brother. Like, that's what the reality for people of color in Big Brother. You have to play with the real world microaggressions that you live every day in your real life and play Big Brother. And the production's supposed to protect us from protect us from this part of it. They took us out of our real world. They're supposed to put us in the Big Brother house.
It's like they want the microaggressions.
They do. They want the entertainment. They want that. They want Jessica to pop off. They want me. They want me. They want Bailey. They want Xavier. They want Justin. They want us to pop off and fight with the other people, and they want that. And am I guilty against that? Fuck yeah. Will I cuss Monty out again? Yes, I will. But you know what else I did? I won HOH. Jessica, you won HOH. We proved to them, like, you're not gonna do this to us. You're not gonna castrate us. You're going to protect, and if you're not gonna protect us, I'm gonna protect me. But it's like,
absolutely,
it always goes back to production. One button that you have to push. Record it, press the button, stop.
They want those microaggressions to happen, but yet they cut the feeds when the white girl talks about the KKK.
Yeah. But they won't cut the feeds when the black girl is popping off on the white girl for talking about the KKK. Now all anyone sees is the black girl or the people of color popping off at the microaggressions that they were giving to them that feeds were cut during. So now it just makes us look like, oh, we're popping off. No, protect us, production. Either show it all,
or don't show it.
Either
show
it all,
or show none of it.
That part.
Either show him why I'm popping off. Let him know.
That's the exact reason. That's the exact reason why Kemi was just like, I'm not doing this shit anymore, because she said what you did is like, it's not that it happened. It's that you decided to cut it off.
Exactly.
And so you only see one side.
Exactly.
So if like, you know, with things like games like the challenge and all of these other ones, they show it all. If you're saying something, they're showing it. So it doesn't make sense as to why Big Brother would edit it so insanely to make it seem like these individuals are completely opposite of the actual character that they are. And it's like character. It's, you know, the person that they are. The character is the person that they are editing them to be. That's the character of how you're editing that.
You're editing this one part of me. You're showing this one part of me. You're not showing you're not showing the fact that I gave compassion and grace to this person time and time again. I gave grace to this person time and time again, and they kept going and they kept going. Now you're showing me in the light of, oh, you're popping off. It's like, okay, yeah, but you didn't show me giving grace the other 30 times before that. Like, I'm human too. I can only control myself so much. I can only listen to someone talk down on me or my friends so much. Do you know what I mean? And you're gonna paint me in this light. You didn't see me. What about that person? How are you painting them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what hurt me so much about that season was Mitch, he got painted out to be this, like, oh, look at me, like, oh, this
all-American boy.
That, and then he won. And it's like, I don't want future people who are applying for the show to look back at that season, because people will watch Derek's season and try to emulate him Do you know what I mean? And I don't
Well,
want
yeah,
that
and they're all given that
to
season to
go
watch
forward.
too, so that's fun.
And that's what scares me about production not stepping in and saying, hey, yeah, he won. We have no control over who the people vote for, but we don't agree. Like, we don't like him.
Yeah.
Well, think about what he did this week. It's just yesterday's episode. They had Frenchie saying that he's never gonna he's like, the first HOH, I'm not gonna nominate a woman. But that is not all he said. He said the word minority and a woman. So, and then he totally cut out that word, and he cut out the whole conversation he had with Bertini because they didn't want to show him saying that. They showed him only saying, I'm not gonna nominate a woman, which is bullshit because like that's not all he said.
Exactly.
Why are we cutting that?
Tracy, what were you gonna say?
They just need to start docking pay too. They need to dock pay. Like take money out every time someone makes a microaggression. Take some money out.
That's what they do for us if we break a rule. If we break any other rule, if we eat when we're have-not, if we take a hot shower, we either get an extra vote or if we refuse to do something, if we leave, they just take our stipend. So like consequences, game-related consequences.
Yeah.
Affect your gameplay, not affect you as a but listen, I guarantee you I'm gonna be on all my P's and Q's if it's affecting my gameplay.
Yeah, like hey, you're a have-not because you used a slur.
Yeah.
Like
literally. Cold
like,
showers, have a blast
by yourself.
What were you gonna say, Tracy?
And then you win.
Oh, I was gonna say two things. One, it's just like in the real world. Would these guys and these ladies even, because you know some of them they act like Becky's and Karen's, or they act like Chad's and Tom's. They only have one strategy of play to win.
Yep.
And they can't win just playing the game straight up. They've got to be microaggressive. They've got to be misogynistic. They've got to be bullies because that's the way they've been winning in life. And so they can get on the show and they can win that way on the show. And production protects that because they know, just like a parent would know, hey, my kid wouldn't be able to be as successful unless they can fall into these unless they can use these different kind of behaviors to get ahead. So that's one thing. The second thing is when it comes to minorities, when it comes to women, really our culture is the currency of that show because it's entertaining. Nobody wants to see a comp beast, and that's with no personality.
Exactly.
No one wants Noah Bates. They want Lowry's. They want Tahim. You know what I'm saying? They want some spice. They want all of that. And so what they do is they're using that. And so they're not going to stop those ladies and those guys from doing those things because then we wouldn't give them what they want when it comes to the narrative that they're trying to write, which is entertaining. But what they're doing is they're really just continuing that stereotype of those viewers, of what the viewers think about, BIPOC, people of color, what viewers think about LGBTQA plus folks. And so it's frustrating because would they win? Could they win if they just straight up had to play? Yeah. If we didn't have to play two games, we didn't have to be twice as good. And so what I say, if I ever get to go on the show, guess what? You're going to target me anyway. You're going to try to make me look like an angry Black woman anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read and drag your ass for filth anyway, because that's what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah. Tracy, that if I always Mary had a little say in my head, if I ever go on Big Brother again, oh, they're gonna think it's the Bad Girls Club. They're not gonna know what hit. They're not gonna know. I will be in this. I don't care. See me in the Compton. They're gonna be like, oh my God, Danielle. But you know what? It's gonna be entertainment, and y'all are gonna love it. And I'm gonna win the competitions because I want to join.
Yeah, because you
I always say if I ever go back, I already did it the strategic,
the nice way.
All of this, I did it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I'm gonna go and boss the wall.
That's how
I said the same thing.
Janelle acted
Yeah.
on her
If you
season.
really think about it, think about like
For it. Rachel.
think about Martin Luther King. Yeah, think about Martin Luther King, right? He wore the suit, he wore the tie, he did everything he was supposed to, right? But he still ended up laid out with bullets in him. Playing respectability and trying to carry the weight of your entire culture. No, that we haven't won yet doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already using us anyway. So you might as well be all of your fabulousness that you are.
Yeah.
It's like
All
if
of
they
your
ever call me back,
Latina
exactly
that
what
you
to
are. All of
expect.
your
Yeah, you
black
already
people,
know.
all of
I
your
need
way
them to
that
call
you
you back.
How this
Yes.
happened. Cody, shout out our Twitch.
Please gotta go back on,
What?
ladies.
I commented and he read it.
What?
I went to Cody's stream to comment that we were here, so everybody watching could come here, and he actually read it on his stream. I didn't think he would read it.
Courtney,
I was just putting
stop
so people
it!
watching would come over here.
You want his followers?
No, I just want they should be watching substance, not that. So.
Aw, poor Cody.
Oh no! Oh, Courtney. No, but like I don't know. But okay, so that's why I love like you two. I'm so happy that you guys got to be.
Someone said they legit came from Cody.
And they followed us. Hello, Slender Knight. Thank you. Welcome. But no, that's why I was really excited to have you two on first this season, because you were two of our like favorite and most dynamic guests last season, and we get to have like actual real conversations with you, and not just about like, oh, who do you like, who do you think is pretty, things like that. Like we get to actually get into like the deep shit with you guys. So like
Speaking of which, who do you like? Who's
yeah.
pretty?
but okay, so back in terms of the season though, and not just like Big Brother, as a whole, because we do, there was a lot of talk preseason about, is this a new era? Like it feels different, right? Like something feels different. Is it the casting? Is it the type of people that are cast and their education levels? Like I don't know.
Is it the new era?
But what do you think? Like
I think it's everything, right? I think they casted more people of substance, right? So you casted more house guests that are actual players or are actual fans of the show, who have watched it, who know what's going on, maybe because they're also well-rounded and a lot more educated, think a little bit more strategically. You have a new logo, you have the new music, you have the change in it, right? You have all of these things. It does feel like a kind of almost like a brand new show, and almost kind of like a revival of sorts of it. It does have that feel to it, even from the twists, the teams, even though we did teams before in prior seasons, I still think that this one was a more calculated type of teaming. It's not
100%.
It wasn't the BB 11 of like the jocks versus the nerds versus the populars versus the offbeats. It's like that was kind of like very stupid grouping. I'm sorry. That was really dumb. You're gonna put all the jocks, all four, so that they can play together because they're jocks.
That's what we need.
That makes no sense. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything, and I also think it's our hope, like the hope that we have, because really, did we think? Yeah, and it's also the hope that we think, like, could it really get any worse? Could this, like,
that's it.
Honestly,
that's it.
We've already hit rock bottom. Yeah, we've hit rock bottom, so there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, how do you go from racist to even more racist and ableist and,
Yes, it's exactly that. No, that's true though. But Jess, it's exactly that, because we went from you know, no offense, Jess, because you and Kemi are the exception and Ovi are the exceptions, but like, you know, we went from BB21, which was super problematic, to how the hell did they let All Stars flop? Like, we have been asking for this for a decade plus, and you let it flop? Are you joking? Because, so, like, after 21, we thought it can't get worse, and then they announced All Stars, and we were like, oh shit, okay, we're in the new era now. But after All Stars flopped, there's nowhere to go but up, because you're on the fucking ground.
It's like they I feel like CBS after all, they thought, oh, pandemic, we're gonna come up All Stars, they're gonna be so hyped, they're gonna be so thankful, they're gonna love us. Nope. And when we were like, actually, we still hate you.
Actually,
I would have. They were like, oh, okay, but it's like now I'm like, listen, y'all did all this, y'all picked half the cast to be BIPOC, and y'all still managed to find a way to find the most racist people. You still had to find a way. You still found a way.
Yes.
But that's surprising, isn't it? I'm thinking like, okay, how you have half of this cast that is, you know, people of color, and then yet you happen to find the most wokest, like, not the most performative wokest person, white person. Like, how?
I know so many.
Well, I know quite a few too.
And there is no way you will. I don't care who says what. There is no way that anybody will convince me that Frenchie was not Cass's parting gift.
Oh yeah.
Because she knew who he was. She knew who he was. Right? She knew how the fandom felt about him. Like,
she doesn't interact with a lot of people, and she interacts with him.
No, that and you have people like Amon that, you know, that applied and would be brilliant on the show, and he gets told that he's got too much of a following. No, fuck you. And then you go cast Frenchie? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay, so you will never convince me that she did not know what she was doing when she left that file or whatever, left his applications, because you know damn well that he's applied multiple times, and they knew exactly what kind of person he was going to be. He was going to come in, and he was going to do exactly what he did. He was going to say that he was there for all the right reasons, and he was going to prove us wrong, and he was going to, you know, dispel the stereotype that is on, you know, Tennessee farmers or whatever, and then he was going to go back on it, and it took him 3 days.
And that's the thing. And you know what? Hannah, who's on my show, Girl, Let's Agree to Disagree. Frenchie, Hannah Claire, she is actually from the part of Tennessee that I think Frenchie is from. So she's just like, yo, this is kind of a rough place for, you know, of Tennessee. Like, you're really gonna get country. He's gonna get country. And I was like, yeah, but you know, he seems very woke. Like, he has his best friend is a gay black man. You know, he's like, you're here thinking like. He talks about how all of his, you know, family are Trump supporters, and he's arguing with them about, you know, politics. And so you're thinking, okay, you're going into this. We got maybe some type of a woke guy, you know, from the South. Maybe he's gonna, you know, kind of bat. And he came to bat and like is literally has struck out so many damn times, and I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. But the thing is even the most woke person from Tennessee is probably going to be the least wokest person from California.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
That's fair.
That's true. I am from California, so
I mean, all of us on Twitter.
So I
there you go.
A perspective on my lens.
I mean, all of us from Twitter kind of knew who he was the second they released the cast, and we all knew who he was. And I mean, I'm sure production looked up his Twitter. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't look up his Twitter handle.
They absolutely would.
And see all of the controversy he's been in on Twitter prior to being on the cast, so they knew full well who he was. But I mean, the biggest red flag was if he's gonna say like 5 minutes into feeds that he has a black best friend, then you know he's racist.
Literally, that's what I always say. If you meet as a black person if you meet a guy, and the first thing that they feel that they need to say to you is that they have a black friend.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
I was watching the premiere, and when he said that he picked him because he reminded him of his best friend back at home, and then I got on Twitter and I saw this girl post a picture of what I said, Frenchie, goodbye. Don't talk to me about having a goodbye. Get out of my face.
Twitter.
Now, if he reminded you because of his sense of humor, he was so funny. If he told the same types of jokes as your best friend, you're like, you know what? His jokes are just like my best friend's. Not he looks just like my best friend.
Yeah.
Frenchie, goodbye. It's fake. It's performative. And the thing is, like, so it's and he knows what he needs to do to try and appease to the Big Brother fans and production, all of this. But what I always tell people is you're in that house 24/7. Every single day, cameras are on you. You can only fake it and pretend so much.
For so long.
We knew it would happen.
Cannot be on 24/7.
We didn't know how fast it would happen.
You cannot.
I mean, did it happen as fast as Tyler though? I think Tyler he's got the record for.
I feel like Monty might hold the record over.
Yeah, I think Monty might be the record holder.
Monty might be the record. I mean, he came out in a robe with the thing, put up a black person and a gay man. No, I'm sorry, he didn't put up Jason first because Jason got safety. Because if he would have,
he would have been up 100%.
He did put Jason up, and then Jason won the veto. Yeah, he put up the black girl and the gay guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he put the other gay girl. Then he put the gay girl on the block next to the other girl.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know
what I meant is saying something performative, like I'm gonna, virtue signaling. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna save the day because I'm one of the good people, that sort of thing. And then, like, literally a couple of hours later, you're doing exactly what you said you never would.
Yeah.
But it's almost like how it's gonna get edited. That they're only gonna cut the part that's like, look, I'm here for you, blah blah blah, and then that the way you act after that on feeds will never be shown because that you are going to be protected.
Yeah. Well,
and it's like, what a shame, right? What a shame that they're not showing everything. That he folded faster than like a freaking cheap stew. And then aside from that, it's like, just give us your apology notes in advance on your iPhone and keep it moving. Like, we just don't have time.
Yeah. No.
Or just leave me alone. I mean, as a Black person, it's exhausting. I'm not going to be your little Black friend. I'm not going to be your performance, your action. I'm not going to be your little fetish. All this, just leave me alone. Just let me live my Black ass life over here, okay? Just leave me alone.
The love, please.
So there's two. He actually has two Black friends, guys. Two. Count them. 1, 2. One of them is actually just someone he met on Twitter. That's who he was talking about.
That's his best friend.
That's his gay Black best friend. But then he said his other Black best friend is a gangbanger and he has a face tattoo. And there was someone that went to high school.
Said looks like a gangbanger.
That looks like a gangbanger, and that they got pulled over.
This was today.
And that Frenchie was profiled because his friend looks like a gangbanger. Those were his words. He was profiled because his friend looks like a gangbanger.
No, they looked up they found the picture of this man, and he looked like the cuddliest man that is like.
I saw his picture.
Man,
he
the
looks
barbecue.
like he plays video games on his computer.
He does not look like anything threatening.
With his daughter on his hip. That's what he looks like.
Yes.
I saw him.
It's so confusing.
No.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
He's definitely sitting around playing like old Atari games. Come on.
Yeah.
He looks like he listened to Taking Back Sunday in high school.
He probably did.
Like, yeah, it's getting weird. It's been getting weird since he got HOH, and it's annoying because, like, yes, do I want there to be? Oh God, yeah.
That one too.
Oh yeah.
God.
Okay, no, let's talk about that though, because the episode, like, we haven't gotten to talk about the episode since it was on, and let's talk about the episode because we're getting this like, oh, the dude bros, they're so misjudged, they're stereotyped, they're so marginalized.
I was so jealous of them, but then they talked to me, and now I feel accepted.
Yeah.
Oh, Tooms,
Yeah.
thank you for the subscription. We appreciate you, Tooms. Yeah. Our Tooms, the bullhorn guy from CBS, as Spoiler Girl says.
The bullhorn guy.
But no, yeah, like it since I don't know, since the episode, like I will say they showed more than I thought they were going to, but they still didn't show enough.
Yeah. The sad part about Frenchie is I think that he displays those aspects about himself of like he hates them because he can't be them. You know, he's not the only reason he can't stand those meatheads is because he wants to be accepted by those meatheads and he wants to be like those meatheads, and he's always been the off farmer, right? It's like when every he said
it. He said it. His own words were, "I don't like the meatheads because they always get the pretty girls."
No, that, and he said it to Brent, Travis, and who else was there? Somebody else was there. Xavier, right? I think Xavier was there. He said,
"Well, it's driven in misogyny, is what it is."
Oh, it 100% is. And he said, but he said
and
to
insecurity.
them in the have-not room the other night. It was before the veto, I think, and like the day before the veto, so Friday night. I think that's when it was. And he said that he came in, this was his verbatim, this was after he was crying to Brent in the bathroom about him being the realest person that he's met in here so far. And he told them in the have-not room that he came in and that he was going to target the meatheads because his whole life, the meatheads, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "You got small arms." You're that insecure about your arms. Because people have talked about how small your arms are, that you're gonna, okay, fine, whatever. That's your reasoning. And then Brent batted his eyelashes for 30 seconds and paid attention to him for a minute. And Frenchie completely changed his tune. He completely changed his tune and was like, "Nope, you know what, it's gonna be a bros thing." And now all of a sudden, look at the block. Well, except for Travis now.
Well, he fit in with them. He fit in with the people that he thought like bullied him his whole life. Like all he wanted to do was fit in. That's literally.
But the only reason he's fitting in is because he's in power.
Oh, don't forget that he said.
I was gonna say, you know who he reminds me of? Cornbread. He's cornbread. If Cornbread would have gotten HOH instead of Monty. Think about it. Cornbread wanted to be in with those boys so bad. And he felt so backstabbed by the boys for sending him home. But that's Frenchie. He wants to be in with them. And he has the power to be able to do that. It's like his subconscious is leading his gameplay. But it's going to come back to bite him in the ass because they don't care about him. They're still saying that he has small arms behind his back. I know they're talking about it.
Yes.
Behind his back. Like, that's not
Cornbread on keto.
It sounds like he's literally cornbread trying to fit in with this group that doesn't even care, that's gonna just push him out this moment that they can because they're not really in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, cornbread on keto.
Yeah. And into that. But not even that. When he was in the HOH room with Claire and Sarah Beth, he wanted to tell them that his wife said it's okay for that you should find a house husband or lesbian and cuddle with them.
Yes. Yes, let's fetishize the lesbian. That's a good idea.
Specifically.
Yeah.
That's like literally. And then Claire was so uncomfortable. Like, she was just like sipping her tea. Like, she was like, okay, you're HOH, so I have to like, you. But like, what?
This is so cringe. It's so bad,
Jess. It's so bad.
This is just.
He said it to Sarah Beth too, and Sarah Beth was like, "Well, I'm actually bi, so." Like, she was like trying to say no without like. Sorry, I don't apply to that. Sorry.
Can we just really quickly?
I'm actually not one of those.
Yeah.
I'm not in this group.
Yeah. Can we just really quickly, just for my own sanity, just appreciate how sweet Sarah Beth is, because a lot of people said at the beginning, like preseason, Like, just to get away from all the problematic people, let's forget them for a second and let's talk about the positive people, okay? Because we don't do that enough.
Sarah, Claire, and Tiffany, go.
Right.
And Azza, hey.
Azza.
Oh, Azza.
Yes. Oh,
Queen.
God, I love
I love
her.
Azza.
Azza.
I love Azza and Tiff. Yeah.
Yes.
Tiffany and Azza are like
But
goals.
Yes. And so many people said, but okay, so that leads us into a conversation. So many people said that, you know, Sarah Beth was going to be first boot. Sarah Beth was annoying. Sarah Beth was too sweet. No, girl is smart and she's cute and I adore her so
She's
much.
playing the part. She's playing dumb. She's playing no, I wouldn't say dumb because I don't think she looks dumb,
she's
but I'm thinking she's playing that small, I have personally I have a problem with that character, that type of I have problems with that type stereotype.
Sure.
I think there's only a few people that can play that, and so it like, but that's just me. It's like to kind of dumb yourself down and make yourself small is kind of a little trigger for me, because it's not like she is the only person that can do that in that house right now.
Oh yeah.
Nicole Anthony was the only person that could do that in that house.
A black woman couldn't.
You know, at one point, big woman here, big Latina woman couldn't do that. Black women couldn't do that. Like anybody who was just not small and nerdy and had that like look could not.
She does have the look for sure.
That she had, and you know what? And they typically fare well, like in seasons, like
Nicole Franzel. How many times?
Yeah, Nicole Franzel was that type before.
She was at her first season.
Yeah, for her first season.
I was thinking more like Bronte or what's her name?
Bridget.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yep.
Bridget.
Yeah, and my thing with Sarah Beth is that yes, she is all of those things, and yes, she kind of plays that little bit of a character, but she also, you know, she does like play the sweet and naive and the, you know, the soft voice and the small, you know, whatever, but she's also super smart and she's also a super fan. And so like it's like that character, you know, that archetype that you're talking about, Jess, but then like add more brain to it. And so I feel like she's a little bit different than that, and I appreciate that. But
I haven't gotten to see it. To be fair, I haven't gotten to see any of her feats because everybody's so focused on Frenchie. And then the times that I've watched the feats, it's been so painful because it's always Frenchie talking for hours and hours upon hours to somebody, or so it's we haven't gotten to see a lot of these characters yet.
And
people.
Yeah, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Sarah, either today or last night, maybe it was the one that clocked Frenchie's his game info, his secret game info. You know, because he keeps, you know, using that against people and saying, well, I know this, so you have to tell me. And she's the one, I believe, that it was either her or Azza, honestly, I can't remember, but I want to say it was Sarah, that was like, he doesn't know anything. He's making this up and just hoping that we tell him things. Like, she's got some game instinct, and I appreciate that so much. But there's so many people that do. So like, let's talk about the people that we love on this season. Danielle and Jess, who are you loving and why?
Okay. Gosh, I love so many of them actually. So I will have to say pretty much everybody in the Cookout Alliance is just like tier. Azza being one of my favorites. She's on my draft. I picked her to be a part of my my draft. I love Tiffany. I think. Huh?
I said me too.
Yeah, Tiffany for me is just like I didn't think that she was going to give us everything that she's giving us right now, it's such a breath of fresh air, you know, to see that we were first worried, oh, she's the oldest, she's not going to be able to adapt, she's not going to be able to, and she's like one of the most loved people she is she has the motherly role, but she's also, you could still see that she is herself, but she's not, like, she's in such a great place right now, I think, in the house, with the amount of knowledge and the amount of intel that she gets from all over. I think that she's just playing a phenomenal game, and I would say that I was very excited about this all girls alliance that they had created as well, which is making me very excited because I love Claire too. She's actually one that I know she's kind of very playing low right now, but she's still kind of, she's letting Frenchie kind of dig his own hole, I think.
Yes.
And she's just kind of making minimal moves. But the only person that I feel, and I don't know why I feel this way, and I feel bad for feeling this way because I'm sure she's a great person, but I just feel like Brittany's gonna like mess this up somehow, because I feel that she is just, she's definitely going, she's too like she's kind of too loose-lipped. She's too like I've already picked up on her mannerisms, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of people in the house have already picked up when she's either like lying or if she's gonna tell, she's gonna tell somebody. I don't know. I'm not holding my breath, but I really hope that this alliance sticks. And then Hannah's just still, we haven't seen a lot of Hannah, and I want to see more of Hannah's like personality, because I feel like they're not showing enough of her.
Yeah, I agree. There was Hannah's in a girls alliance, and then Ozza, there's like two girls alliances, and they're both missing one person.
I didn't know there were
Which
two
one
girls.
is Hannah? Yeah, there's two girls alliances, but which one is Hannah in?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was Hannah. It was a trio. It was Hannah, Ozza, and
Oh, well, there's
Claire.
three.
Claire.
There's three then.
Okay, yeah,
because there's Tiffany, Claire, and Sarah is the jackpot.
Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
Okay.
Somebody.
I don't
tell me
remember
if I'm
Hannah
wrong.
being in one.
I thought I saw it, but I might be wrong.
The jackpot is Tiffany, Claire, and Sarah. And then you have another girls alliance. I don't know if they have a name or not, but it's Tiffany and Claire as well, with Brittany and Ozza. That's the one I'm worried about, because I don't know about Brittany.
Yeah.
That's the Sirens. They're named the Sirens.
Oh, the Sirens. Okay.
Yes. So, but the thing is with Hannah is that she's playing such a low-key game right now. I'm a little worried it might be a little too low-key, because I don't know if she's actually like, who does she talk to? I think, like, I've seen her talk to Claire, and I've seen her talk to Sarah Beth, but I really haven't.
Talks to Derek sometimes.
Derek
X.
But like she's pretty much like, I mean, honestly, the first 2 weeks you should be low key. I don't know. That's just like making friends, but then also low key.
My concern is she's playing so low key that she might be seen as disposable.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
because her name did come up instead of Travis. This
Think about, and even in the
scary.
Think about even in the cookout though, like she's basically, they just like told her, "We got you, but you're not in our alliance." Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, and they said we got you because you're black.
Yeah.
But because she hasn't really made any sort of connections with anyone, that's why I say she's going to be disposable, because when it's time to start cutting, when they get to the top 10, or when they get to jury, they'll be like, well, we can go ahead and just send her on to jury.
Yeah.
And that's what
playing too key.
That's a really good point. Like, you want to play, it's like if you want to play that low key game, you want to come in kind of playing low key, but you still want to build those relationships. Your low key game shouldn't just be, I'm going to stick to myself. It should be, I'm only talking to people about them and about things that aren't game related, like funny, lighthearted conversations. Just you, the one-on-one, that's low key. That's how you're still able to build those connections one-on-one. And I think that's what Hannah needs.
You basically got to play like a Casey game. If you're not going to be out there winning, you're not going to be out there in the drama and the mess, the least you can do is make those one-on-one connections.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I feel like if you're going to play that role, you have to be really likable. You know what I mean? Like Justin, he was really, from my season, he was really likable. And he was able to play that low key. I'm not going to win anything. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. I'm just going to be here. But it was because he was likable. And it was because he built those relationships and he would hop around and really build those relationships with people. And people saw his value to them personally.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what he brought to the game as a whole or to an alliance as a whole. And that might be where Hannah needs to like fit in is I might not be the number one in my alliance, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to create value with every single individual person in my alliance. So that way when my name gets brought up, my value is so high to those individual people that I get moved off of the radar list. You know, I continue to be low key. I'm not bouncing around from alliances. I'm bouncing around from specific people, you know, and I think that's kind of what I hope to see Hannah's game shift to.
Yeah. But let's let Danielle answer the question though. So who are you loving? Who are you loving specifically and why?
Specifics. I don't have a specific stat. I've only watched the first episode. I haven't been super on feeds. I know feeds have been super Frenchie heavy, and so I don't have like a set like first looks. Of course, you know I have like the people who I'm going to root for, but I really want to watch their gameplay. I want to see how they handle individual moments and really like go from there. So I haven't really gotten a chance to get a good grasp on them week one enough to fully confidently give like
who you know, love,
this is what I see their gameplay going or who I can kind of get behind where I kind of see the direction that they're heading. But you guys know me, you know that I'm gonna I want to see the people who aren't afraid to make the big moves, call out the people, you know, set whether you're winning the comps or not. Like I just want to I want to see the people who are going after it, who are playing the game. So the people who are playing the game strategically are going to have and are good-hearted people, because I feel like you can play the game and be a good person at the same time. Yeah. So I think that those people who find a way to be successful in doing that are going to be my go-tos. And just looking at DX and how he won the veto and took off Kylan, like that already for me is like, you got my respect. Like you're coming to play. You won. You're using it. Like I like that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the house guys so far. I'm excited to see what next week has in store after French doesn't have power. I'm excited to see who gets it and kind of what that really means from the house, because I feel like it could definitely, if it goes into the right person, not knowing who that is at the moment, but if it goes to the right person, it could definitely shift it to be what we really kind of hoped for. Like you said, we have that hope. Yeah. And I think that they could
It's still there a little. It's still there. Like
so I do have a question. So like since this week has been total craziness, do you think that this is setting up for a season that's also going to be kind of crazy, or do you think it's going to die out and fizzle out right after he's out of HOH?
I think that something that someone said, I think it was Boy Mom, and you guys had posted it up as well. She's like, there's more Gen Z cast than any season before, and I think that as Big Brother starts to move in age, you know that they don't cast, like you said, Tiffany's the oldest person and she's 40. We're going to start seeing more Gen Z people be in the house, and we're going to start seeing the Gen Z people. Gen Z really has a mind of their own. They speak for themselves. They know how they feel. They're going to say it. And I think that having more Gen Z people in the house, more opinionated people, more people willing to step out and make bigger moves in life will transition into gameplay, and they won't be afraid to make those big risk-taking moves in the game either. So I'm hopeful that as those people come into power and stuff, like we see a shift, and it's not this monotony of I need to get in line who the first HOH is. I'm going to do what the first HOH want, and it's just like this steamroll.
We need chaos.
So that's my hope for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I think it's already happening though, because honestly, just by just Derek X winning that veto, and he said right away, I'm using it on Kylan. Like he said that. He stuck to his word. That is admirable.
Yeah.
How many times did the veto get used last season?
Never.
It was like one time. Two, maybe. It was two, maybe. And like the time that Davon used it, they fucking put her through the ringer for it. So like this already, the veto being used and being like, no, fuck your decision. I'm gonna like.
Yeah, I like that it sets the tone.
Yeah, I do too, because I want the veto to be used. You know what? I want it to be used almost every week. Almost.
I mean, that's why it's in the game.
Yeah.
It's in the game to be used. Like, it's fun. It's not fun if it's just those two people. Okay, I'm sitting on the block all week. I'm going home. Like, no,
You're
throw something
giving
else in there.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
fun to now
I
strategize
honestly,
with 2 days left. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
it's,
And I actually want to see. I want for Frenchie to want Alyssa out, and I want
Travis to go.
for the house to choose the other way and get Travis out, and let Frenchie have to like fiend for, and have to scramble for that, because if it makes no sense to take out somebody that obviously, if you're going to go with Alyssa or Travis, and you're asking me to choose, there's no way in hell I'm keeping Travis off of Alyssa. Even if I don't talk to Alyssa, I don't care. Like, it's like you're taking out who's going to be the bigger threat in the long run. And I think, and I mean, and he's very happy to tell people how much of a threat he is, so he's talking about how he's done all of this stuff. So I'm really hoping, I really hope that there's no voting within, with the house. I'm hoping that Xavier ends up taking his mind off of wanting and Big D wanting to take their minds off of working with Frenchie in the long run, especially with that not it was like microaggression, but it sounded like when he thought Xavier was threatening him.
Yeah,
I don't know if you saw that clip. Is that a threat? And that really upset me. And the way that Xavier quickly tried to fix it, and I didn't like that, and that to me it didn't sit well. Yeah, it didn't sit well with me because he said that nothing but nice, and so it was kind of like I don't even know how Frenchie mistook that for it being a threat. But yeah, I'm just like really hoping that they figure this out. They have, there's a lot of people who are there that have the numbers to take out and do and make a big move, knowing that Alyssa's not it. She's not the big move here.
No, not at all. Danielle, did you see all of that last night, where the recaps from last night where Frenchie was calling Kylan and Xavier aggressive already?
No, but I did see like bits and pieces on Twitter.
Yeah. No, that's what I was wondering. Like, if you are aware of that. Yeah. I was asleep.
I don't know if you guys caught it, but when he said, "Oh, the crazy man is coming out of the DR," and he was referring to,
Kylan.
Kylan.
That was Travis that said that, right?
And then he said, "And if he's out of here popping off at me, he's going to catch an elbow." I'm like, my God. I mean, if anybody is the aggressive,
that's a threat of violence.
It's Christmas last year. If anybody here is violent or aggressive, it's you, sweetheart. It's not Bailey. It's not Davon. No, it's you.
Well, and we saw that on Jess's season, recently in recent memory of people making public threats of aggression on feeds. Like, we can see them. They're speaking these to the other house guests.
Stomping mud holes in people's chests.
Yeah, why is that not being? That's another thing. Like, that should be addressed.
Yeah,
it's those moments that really makes me the most upset for production not stepping in. Is like that's a threat.
Yeah.
You Canada expelled why am I drawing a blank on his name now? Jamar. Because he went like this, and
exactly.
And this grown man is talking about stumping a mud hole in Kimmy's chest.
Yeah.
Like, you want to elbow somebody in the face?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's a threat.
Yeah.
That right there is a literal threat that I can go to and say, hey, this person's threatening my life.
Yeah.
They're telling me that they want to hit me in the face, stop mud holes in my chest. Like,
Yeah,
no.
it was that was their MO. Like, aside from that, I remember when Mickey and Holly were telling everybody I was on some type of drugs because I was crazy.
That's
You know,
ironic.
that I was behaving erratically and that I must have got caught with some drugs or something.
Mickey
I was
said
like,
this.
what
Mickey,
The whole time,
Jackson, Mickey.
Jackson was on drugs and going through it whole time.
Oh, that
He
makes
was
me
going through
angry
it,
for
too.
you.
Like, he was on drugs the whole time.
Makes me angry for you, Jess. Oh no.
What?
Jess has talked about that. She's
Yeah,
talked
I
about
know,
it.
but it just is irritating.
Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, what happened, Amanda?
While in that house, did you know he was withdrawing from drugs? Like, did you know that was happening? Like, he was detoxing.
No, I mean, I knew that people used recreationally. I knew the name of his drug dealer. I knew a lot of different things, you know. We knew that he was going to blow a lot of his money on it. Like, we knew a lot of these things.
It's
like,
BB9 all over again.
But I didn't know that he was like actually had an addiction, like as he said. Like we didn't know that. I didn't know that he was coming down from a lot of things. A lot of the things that I know, or that I thought he was acting erratically about, I thought it was because working out was his coping mechanism, and we are taken away from the backyard for 5 days at a time, and I thought he hasn't been able to work out. You know, maybe he has this aggression that he hasn't been able to let out or whatever. That's what I associated his erratic behavior to. You know what I mean? But yeah, and the thing is like everybody, like when, and say Danielle, you know this, like when you get during lockdown, when feeds are shut down and we're locked in a room together and we talk, not game, because as soon as game is mentioned, they turn off music, they roll the tapes, you know, whatever. They usually turn off feeds and whatever, so that they play music while we're waiting for something to get fixed or whatever the case is. And then we talk, but we talk as people, not as players. You know, as soon as they hear some type of game, they'll like turn everything off. And that's where you get to, that's where we got to know the person, you know, or the person they want, or the person they want you to think they are, you know, if that makes sense. And so like I found out through those moments, I was like, yo, there's some crazy ass people in my house. Like yeah. But everybody was like, they were, I mean, I thought it was just because they were younger or whatever, but.
Well, knowing people that do all kinds of drugs, I can't even think of a season that I've looked at someone and like this, because once you become an addict, you're always an addict.
It was week one.
To not, you know, to abuse anymore the drug. And so I can't think of any season since even season one that I could look at someone and be like, okay, this person either has a drinking problem that they're dealing with, or this person is definitely taking some sort of drugs, or this person needs medicines for their mental health. And so it's been on every single season. And when I looked at Jackson, when I looked at his teeth, when I looked at his erratic behavior, his mood swings, he's not the only one. There were a couple on season 20. Obviously, there were a couple on All Stars that had some issues, and you know that production knows this.
Yeah.
But my question is, could a minority have had those same issues and still be on the show?
No, absolutely not.
No.
I remember.
Think about someone
just waiting for them to. I just remember waiting for production to tell me like that I wasn't on the show. I was like, I don't believe you. You're gonna find some reason to pull me off until I'm in that house. Until even when my blindfolds were on and they were walking me to the studio, like I fully believed that they were going to tell me that there was some reason why I couldn't be on, and it wasn't going to be, it was going to be something like, I don't know, I just was waiting for the ball to drop. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I'm watching these people, and I remember being so scared about little things like, oh, I got in a fight in high school one time. Like, they're definitely going to. Like, I remember I got arrested at a club. I got kicked out of a club for fighting. Like, I'm going, and they're not going to pick me. And I just, like, how confident are these people to just be applying? And like someone said in the comments, like, to use Big Brother as rehab and to, like, it's just so mind-blowing to me that type of thing is allowed. And again, it's production not protecting its house guest. Like, you don't know what he is capable of while he's going through those withdrawals. You don't know what aggression or what could happen in those moments. Like, you don't know. And so here you are having someone who you know is going through these things. And even if you didn't know before, you can see it happening now. You have to go through so many psychiatric tests. And I'm just like, you see it. So how are you not protecting your house guests yet again? And when people ask me, like, Danielle, would you go back on Big Brother? And I always tell them, like, production has.
Oh no.
Okay, she'll reconnect. She'll
Yeah.
She'll come back.
But it was that, like, I mean, you can't even say, like, give the benefit of the doubt. Like, they knew. Like, they were coddling him. They were giving him things that he needed or asked for in order to, like, cope. Like, he had 20 watermelons every day. Like, I mean, it was, they were giving him things to cope. And so they knew.
And they did know. And Jess, I don't know if we've ever said, like, we've talked a lot, like, on podcast and not, you know, here, I'll take her off just until she reconnects. But, you know, on podcast and not, Jess, but, like, we as fans were so concerned. Not because of, like, the show. It went so far beyond that. Because, yes, Big Brother has an insane fan base. Nobody is going to deny that. But we were so concerned for the people in that house, including you, including Kemi, including, like, everybody that was, you know, in that house for your safety, and especially Holly and Kat. Because of the way that he was acting, you know, and things like that. I don't know why we keep getting sidetracked back to BB21, but we do.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just talking about, I think it was just more so talking about, how did we get
I don't know.
We just talked about how we expect more from production,
and then it
for
goes
the
back to
safety of the house guests.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's like the most recent example of that.
Oh yeah, and it's also talking about, like, getting to know these individuals, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, knowing everything that I knew, leaving Mickey in the house was a decision because I thought, hey, I'm putting both of these people on the block. I'm getting rid of the one that is detrimental to my game right now. Like, I would be gone the next week had he won HOH, you know, like, I was his only target. That was a very clear, you know, clear cut case for me. But keeping Mickey when other people wanted Mickey gone, I was like, well, why am I going to do other people's work? Why am I going to do other people's jobs?
Yeah.
Like, no, you get rid of Mickey because you want to get rid of Mickey. That's perfect because now he's still a target. But what happened? He just kept on being a target, another target, this every single week. I'm like, he's a pathological liar. He is this, he's that, he's the other. How are you still having him on, you know, on this? And I guess that's my fear for this season, you know.
Sorry.
Is he kidding?
We were trying to get Danielle.
We were all pushing the ad, and so it would all go like ad remove.
Yeah. But yes, Jess. Like, it was a choice for sure.
We were so incredibly, like, concerned for y'all, like, literally for your safety.
Yeah, not just as fans.
Like, for your mental health. How can you sleep? Like, for me, I wouldn't be able to sleep with someone that I did not feel safe with, because I already am a light sleeper. And so on top of that, you're going to add someone that I don't know what they're going to do to me. when it is very clear that they've got some issues, and you have nowhere to go. You have no one to talk to. You have no one to unload all of your concerns on, or even just to talk it out with someone, even if you're not just like unloading on them.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
when production is not doing their due diligence,
Mhm.
because like I said, there's no way a person that has a felony charge should be allowed into the house.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And I'm not even talking about Toyota sale. I'm talking about people from season 19.
Oh.
They can't even have a checking account because they have a felony money
Who?
law. Kevin from BB19.
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, we
I
talked
didn't
about
know
it.
that.
Oh, I missed that.
But
Oh yeah.
my thing is
The
like,
dad? The dad?
Wasn't he a mob though? At
yeah, yeah.
He
His
was
dad,
a lot. He was a lot. He was
Yeah.
a lot.
My thing is like that comes to mind when you're saying that, Tracy, is like you don't have an outlet. You don't have anyone to talk to in those moments where you don't feel safe, where your mental health is pushing. Like, yeah, you can go into the production, into the diary room, and you can talk to production, but at the end of the day, they are just that. They're production. They're not a licensed professional. Do you know what I mean? And something that I think that Big Brother might benefit from is just having a psychiatrist or someone there
100%.
trained to talk to the house guests that's outside of game.
Yes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I know we're not supposed to talk to the outside world, and it could just be someone for them to listen to on the other side, but someone who's trained who can say, go to production and say, you know what? The person is really harming this person.
Yeah.
It's not okay. And
Yeah.
as a professional, or to be able to go in and say, you know what, this person isn't mentally, like, they're not okay. Because mental health is it's not just, oh, I physically harmed you.
No.
Like, okay, yeah, I punched you in the face. You're going to be fine tomorrow. Okay. But the emotional and mental damage that I'm doing to you is going to last far longer than this game. They have you talk to psychiatrists before. They have you talk to psychiatrists after.
But not during.
Why don't they have you talk to anyone during the time you're being if they don't want to step in to protect you, why don't they at least provide someone for you to talk to in the moment for you to say, hey, they want to capitalize on your mental struggles.
Yeah.
It's entertainment for the audience.
Yeah.
And it's just so hurtful because I know as a past house guest myself, I remember getting off the show. They're like, Danielle, do you want to talk to the psychologist? And I was like, no, I'm great. I know I played a kick-ass game. I don't have any regrets. Like, I don't even talk to anybody. I don't care. Let the Twitter people show me what they said. I don't care. You know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
we loved you, so.
It was years past that. Here I am, 28. I was on the show when I was 23, 24.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was 23. Yeah, I can't believe I've been off this long. But
Wow.
I was like 23, I think, when I was on Big Brother. And I just remember thinking, looking back now and where I'm at in my life and how much I've grown, and I'm like, wow, I wasn't an introvert before Big Brother. I became an introvert after Big Brother.
You know what? So have I.
Told me that I was narcissistic and I was full of myself and I talked too much and I did all these things. And now now that's what I think of myself, and it's like, who am I? I used to walk into a room and be like, I'm Danielle. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I'm here, And that's what hurts is like, yeah, you can talk to someone after, but it's like if you're on a high, you don't really care.
Yeah.
I want to talk to someone in the moment. Do you know what I mean? And I hope the production maybe can figure something, like either protect them and stand up for them, or protect them in the sense of having someone for them to go to, a safe person for them to go to.
Yeah. Well, and like that's really surprising that they don't too, because I mean, like you said, you're not supposed to be talking to anybody from the outside world. Like it's at that point it's like doctor client, like
What they do, I just want to state that they do have someone on staff for you to talk to if you are going through if you're going through a mental struggle, meaning like if you're having a mental breakdown at that moment. There's a difference between the upstairs and the downstairs diary rooms. And usually if you're like, if it's bad, like you're about to self-evict, they usually do it just specifically for like self-evictions or like insane moments.
Yeah.
They will bring...
But my thing is, like, did they tell you that before you went into the house? Because I didn't even know about that. And I was a house in the house. I didn't even know that that was an option for me.
Oh, yeah, no, that is a thing.
In the state, and
So
they
maybe that's new then.
How come I have to be in that state of complete despair for then you to decide that I'm capable of going to that space? Do you know what I mean? Like, I have to be in such despair that you deem me so bad that I can go. And I just think that it's something that they, like you said, like they should tell us beforehand. There was no rules of, hey, if someone is aggressive towards you, so like I feel like the rules are very specific to protect them and to not protect them. Yes. And I feel like, why? I just feel like there's an easy answer that they don't want to choose because they capitalize off of the mistreatment of others.
Well, I think that might be
it's
new.
not a game, you know. It's like I'm gonna capitalize off the mistreatment, not off of the game, not off of playing the game, the competition, which I feel is like the challenge, or like some of these other game shows. It's I'm gonna show you the drama, but like if you can win a competition, you're gonna win a competition at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't feel like the focus is gameplay. It's more so on how can I manipulate these people the most I can to get the most out of them. And when Big Brother production can start to step aside and see what they started the game for, you know, playing the game and protecting their houses, it'll be a whole different, it'll be the game that we really want it to be, because people won't have to worry about all these other things. They'll just get to worry about winning the competitions and playing the game and creating alliances and doing all of this, not the, oh, this person's going to threaten me and I can't say anything because I'm going to get evicted tomorrow.
Right.
No, this person's going to threaten me and production's going to step in. I don't even have to say a word. And I think that's what will really change the game the most impact. You can put as many people in the house as you want that are all different, that all look different in all of this, but there still needs to be someone holding these people accountable, just like there is in the real world. There's real life consequences. There's natural consequences. In Big Brother, there's no natural consequence other than you go back to your real life.
Yeah, but that's the hard thing too, though. At the beginning, you said, you know, it's like we had talked about the difference between BB Can and BBUS of like, it's a reflection of America and who we are, but like that's the thing, is there really real consequences for these people in real life in the US? Not really, and that's like the biggest problem.
It's systemic. The misogyny is systemic. The ableism is systemic. The body shaming is systemic. The racism is systemic. I mean, all of those things are so embedded. And then so the people that are behind the camera are just, like Danielle said, they want someone and how do the fans call? They say, oh my God, they were feeds gold. I've seen people having a mental breakdown and that's being called feeds gold.
No,
you know,
that's not what I want to see.
Exactly. I want to see feeds go. Like, I want to see an argument about someone being on the block or something like that. That's feeds go.
We want confrontation. Exactly. We don't want I'm gonna elbow him in the throat or I'm gonna curb, like that's not the conversation we want. We don't want threats of violence. We want like conversations back and forth between two intelligent people of why I'm not going on the block or why I'm putting you on the block. Like we want that kind of confrontation.
Okay. Or even when you win head of household,
or anybody want cake?
You know,
yes, I was just gonna say. I was about to just say. I want BB10 confrontation. I want BB10 confrontation. Was that nice and cordial and educated? Absolutely not. BB10 was not educated at all. But it was entertaining and it wasn't racially charged. It wasn't like misogynistic. It was just chaos.
And it's you're coming after me in the game, so I'm gonna come after you, and
it was all game based.
Everyone knows it.
It was all game based. Yes,
all game based, and like it's not that. I just don't feel like it's not that difficult. I don't know when the shift. I'm not gonna say I don't know when the shift happened.
15.
I just don't understand why we got so far from gameplay, because gameplay, Big Brother itself, is so much more entertaining than all of this drama. That's why Bad Girls Club isn't on the air. That's why all these other shows are no longer around, because drama can only sustain for so long. You need substance to go along with it. And it's like, let's have the drama coordinate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you just beat me in a competition. Now I'm feeling salty. Okay. I'm going to go off on you because I lost. Not because
I'm going to go off on you, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to beat you in the next comp.
Exactly. No, exactly. Like, I was mad about how Scott acted, and I was like, listen, bro, I don't play that. Me. And then I won the competition.
A little rough.
No. That's what you have to do. You don't like the way someone's playing, and send them home.
Yes.
Send them home.
Exactly. You don't have to go into like personal threats and like.
No, I don't need to sit here and talk about how shitty of a person, like you are. Like, yeah, like I told Monty, American sees the type of person that you are. I don't have to sit here and bring your character down. All I have to do is win the competitions that send you out the house, my guy, because that's what I'm here to do. We're playing a game. You don't need to protect my character. I'm not here to protect my character. I'm here to play a game. So let's talk about the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand you didn't
polyester-haired
protect the character because you had quality character, but that's a whole other thing. But I mean, what used to make me, what made me mad and upset one time is to see a house guest that was clearly having a mental breakdown, and for them to pull them into the DR and then them coming out of the DR an hour later and clearly have been given something that altered their mood, and then to see them do something like they literally right, they literally went into the shower and took a hot shower, and if you know anything about drugs, you know that a hot shower amps up the effect of whatever drugs that you took. And I was so infuriated. I didn't like that person, but I was upset for them because they were putting a Band-Aid on their mental health, and they barely made it to the end of the game.
Yeah.
One thing that just happened actually on this season that is that they were having a conversation at the table, and Brittany mentioned that her sister has died, and Xavier just lost his brother very recently, and he went to one of the bedrooms, and all 4 cameras were on him as he's hysterically crying. And I was just like, everyone was just saying like, why is he crying? Because no one really knew. But then it was getting to a point that like, he's been crying for like 15, 20 minutes, and these 4 cameras have not moved off of him. And I got so upset. I was like, why are they not giving him some sort of privacy at this moment?
Or say like, hey, come to the DR. Like
it was just
calm down.
It was just so like, what is happening right now? Why are they doing this? Like, give some sort of privacy. This is,
but that's
the point.
But that's like I was saying, like, why is it that it's production that gets to decide that you need to come? That he probably doesn't even know that there's another space that he can that there's I didn't even know there's another diary room. Jessica you just said it. I didn't even know. I never went. I never went to an upstairs diary room.
There used to not be.
We don't think it existed.
It didn't exist in OTT.
I don't think it existed.
Okay, so I was gonna say that
implemented. Yeah, we think it came on after 19 with what happened with Megan. We think that was when they implemented having that as an option. But it should have always been an option. And I agree with you. There should be someone who's watching feeds who is like a licensed psychiatrist who's like, no, I need to pull them right now. Like, no. Yeah.
And talk to them, but it's like a licensed perfection. Why is it production? Because like I didn't even know that happened to Man in 19. So sad because here they are. Everyone's watching him cry over the loss of someone that is close to him. When all production has to do is say, hey, come in here. Even if they don't talk to him, come in the diary room, cry in private.
Yeah.
Like what? Humanity. Like humanity.
That wouldn't be a private cry. That wouldn't be a private cry.
We're humans. Humanity.
That wouldn't be a private cry. They would use that if he cried in the diary room. They'd probably use that as some type of clip or something else.
Diary room.
Right. Or
they exposed all of Audrey's like.
She went to the diary room and was literally like having a breakdown in the diary room, and they aired it all on the show.
That
exploiting people's pain for profit, and that's America's MO: exploiting people's pain for profit. It's capitalism, and it's just like, we're playing a game. I just want to play a game.
Yeah, it happened in 22.
Can I play Catan? Like, it's just a game.
Oh my God, Danielle, can we play Catan?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
We've been playing Don't Starve lately though.
Yeah. Okay, Danielle's gonna be in our.
I haven't played Don't Starve, but
it's so fun.
If you guys like it and you would play Catan, then I probably will like it.
Okay. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But no, it happened in 22 as well, right? Was it Cody? Cody's grandpa died, and they Cody's grandpa died, and all of a sudden, like, as soon as he walked out of the diary room, all of the cameras were on him for like an hour. Like,
oh, you're
muted. You're muted, Tracy. Tracy, you're muted.
You would think I know this.
That's okay. That's
okay. But when Bailey was upset, she like tried to hide behind the couch. There was someone in BB Celebrity Big Brother that did the same thing. Mm-hmm. They know that their pain is going to be used that way, and they try to like go somewhere and try to hide so that they can't use it. I really, and I'm with you, Jessica. And I've actually talked to some people. I'm like, what you need to do is, you have a very unique position that you have been on reality TV, and you're working on your psychiatrist. Why are you not? I mean, you have a very unique. Come on, it's needed. And so many people have their mental health has really been degraded after coming off of these shows, because how do you come down from that? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you come down from a camera in every room following you to nothing?
Yeah.
Like, what does that do to your mental health? And then like a year later, when the next Big Brother comes on, or when the next challenge comes on, or the next Love Island, now you're a nobody. So how do you deal with that? Mm-hmm. Like, long term?
Yeah. And it like that's I think what I mean, while we're on the subject of mental health, that's what was so disheartening, I think, about feel about her how you want to, but about Nicole Anthony getting called for All Stars. Do I think that she deserved a spot? Sure. Do I think that she was ready for it mentally? Absolutely not.
No.
She didn't have
I mean,
time to
I was saying that
process.
right when I saw that she was on the cast. There's not a single person. You can't tell me that you get off of Big Brother and you can go right back into it a year later.
No. Can
there's
you
no
imagine?
way you're mentally ready for that, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard game to play, and you saw it with her the second time around. Was like, should she have been on that All Stars if that All Stars was a couple years down the road? Okay, I think maybe, but in that moment, and she just got off the show and went through it's so much to unpack. And like I said, I'm 5 years. How old am I? I'm 28. I'm 5 years off the show, and I'm still unpacking stuff. And I wasn't even on a TV version, so I can't even fathom how it is to be on the TV version and then have to unpack it and then go right back in and do it all over again.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Yeah, because Jess, I would make the argument that Jess had just as good of a chance to be on All Stars that Nicole did. I mean, if not better, but you know, because she was whatever final three, like, but like, Jess, can you imagine going back on, like?
I came out hating absolutely everyone and everything. Yeah. Like when I tell you that I talked to literally 3 people from my season, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the performative, the fake wokeness, a lot of the things that have gone on in my season, like there's still things when I even just look at their faces, it makes me nauseous. Yeah. And so it's hard for me to go into another season with that amount of like, for lack of a better term, hate in my heart, because it's not really hate, you know, like 'cause I don't wish them ill will or anything of that nature, but it really did a number on my psyche in terms of like it kind of pulled the wool out over my eyes, you know, took that, and it like I took it's like they showed me the Matrix almost, if that makes sense. It's like I was living in such a safe space. I had created my tribe, people that of all different shapes, sizes, colors, ages, and everything. And that was my safe space this whole time for almost, 30 years of my life. And I go on to this show and they show me that bad people still exist, and this is still a thing, and people get away with it, and things like and how they manipulate, and how they're able to backstab, and how they literally think that it is just a game, even though it's psychological warfare. And it is just it was just it took me a while to come out and get my step back into reality and say that wasn't really my reality, because even though those people are real and all of that stuff is happened and it's real, it's not the people that I choose to hang out with and be with and surround myself around. And that's the difference. And when people say it's just a game, it's like, when you're in it, it's so much more. It's so much more than that, and so I couldn't imagine, going back to it, like I couldn't imagine going in so soon. But then again, I looked at it as Nicole being top 3. I really didn't see her have much of that struggle that she said that she had, so like I didn't personally see it. I felt like she had a good position in the house. She was very much sheltered in, from Cliff. Even Mickey had her, was taking care of her, that she was in a good spot. So to hear that she was going through it the way she said she was going through it, I would have never guessed.
I think she was sheltered from life prior to going into that house too.
She was so young.
She's so young. She was super sheltered, just perspective of life, really. And going into that house was like a shell shock for her. I knew she struggled in the beginning, first few weeks. Like she seemed like she was struggling, and I know you were there for her for a lot of that. And and you can just tell, I was like, is she just she doesn't think that she fits in with people, or she's just so kind of a naive, innocent person.
Yeah.
She's kind of shell shocked. She's walking, seeing these people heck.
Yeah, the game itself just preys on your own insecurities. Right? That's what it's created for. If it's not the people that you're surrounded by that are gonna tear you down, you yourself are gonna be your own worst enemy. And it's why you see people spiral when they go on the block, and it's not anybody else's doing. Of course, there is the the shunning of sorts, when they shun you out and take you, you feel like you can't talk to people, but a lot of it is that inner dialogue as well. And that's really the hard, the hard part, especially because there's no social media, there's no books, there's no TV that you can distract, there's no coping mechanisms. People would use weed as a coping mechanism, people would use exercise as a coping mechanism, people would use music as a coping mechanism, and you don't get any of that in that house. So what do you do but to just be in your own thoughts, in your own, it's really crazy. So no, I couldn't imagine anybody coming straight out of that house.
That'd be so
Kat
difficult.
also went through it too, because there was many times Kat seemed like she just felt like an outsider in the house, where especially that one time when everyone was playing a game and she's on top of the balcony just looking over everybody, and I was just like, what is happening right now? But it was it was funny in like a scheme of things, but if you really look at it, she's in a spot where she's like, oh no, I'm an outsider now, like because of what happened with all of the little love triangle situation. I'm now the outsider, and I've been shunned, and I don't even think she was on the block at that point.
No, there's a lot more to it than we think, for sure.
Exactly.
But bringing it back to this season, and I don't want to keep you guys all night long, so but yes, I do. Yes, I do think he is.
We did talk about Derek F, and I feel like Derek F is a wild card.
He is. Yes. I'm not happy with him right now. He's I don't know what I don't know what I'm watching. I mean, like, and now that whole like where he verbally said that Frenchie was his final two, I was just like, I don't know about this, you know. I don't know why he would be against the women.
It's been since night one. He's mentioned it. He mentioned it to Tiffany night one that if a guy goes this week, then a girl needs to go next week.
And he said that he wants the girl to win HOH so they can see if there's an all-girls alliance, which is shady.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Azah needs to stop talking to him so confidently. Right. Because I feel like that's going to really mess up her game. She was complaining a lot about Frenchie this week, and I think like Derek F, Big D was kind of her sounding board, and he was trying to calm her down. But now I feel like he has a little bit too much on her, and I worry about what he could potentially do with that information. Now that I know that he's not really, for like. He's not really for the cause. And when I mean for the cause, it could be any cause, but it is also Cookout Alliance. I'm here thinking like Cookout. I'm thinking that the Cookout is like is the Bible right now. That is like that you that is Holy Trinity, even though it's not three, but you know what I mean? It's like that we protect this temple at all cost, and the fact that that is being somehow threatened in a lot of different ways because of some of the people that are in that alliance, it worries the living crap out of me, you know?
It's interesting to watch him on feeds because he's not very open to a lot of conversations. He takes a lot of information in, but doesn't really give a lot. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, like when he's talking to people, he'll be like, like literally so fast where it's like, are you even listening to me? I don't feel like anybody's picking up on that. They still continue to spill their guts to him, and he's just like, without giving anything to anyone. And I don't understand how people like that, like, are able to get in all these alliances and get all this information.
I think, like Derek is he's got a different body type. He's dark. He's a darker skinned African American. He's gay, and so he in my opinion he is a pick me. It's like I want someone to accept me, and so he's attached himself to acceptance from Onion Dip, and he's really, and I hate to say this, but he is using the Cookout as it benefits him. Mm-hmm. And he's going to drop the Cookout at his very first opportunity. Mm-hmm.
I feel like
our skin folk, he is not our kinfolk. Just because he's our kinfolk.
And it's funny that you say that, Tracy, because I was literally thinking the same thing. Like, not all Black people are for Black people. Not all minorities are for minorities. Sometimes they think, oh, if I can assimilate enough, I'll be accepted. If I can put down these people enough, then I'll be accepted. And it's like, how often do you have to see that that's not the case? Like, did you watch David? Mm-hmm. Like, how, I mean, aside from Real World, if we're just looking at Big Brother, like Big D, did you watch David? Like, how well did that do for him? Did he win? How well did it do for him overall? You know what I mean? And like, go with, like I said, genuine connections. And that's going to come back to bite him in the end. Like, will it hurt other people before it hurts him? It might. But at the end of the day, it's gonna come back to bite him in the ass because those people don't give a shit about him. People that he's shitting on are the ones who are gonna give a shit about him.
Absolutely. I think that he also it's also like believe me when I tell you who I am the first time, and he said he was going to be trouble. He said he was going to create some, chaos. He said that he was a petty little bitch, or is it that he said he was a petty little bitch? I forgot the terminology that he used when he said, does anybody remember when he
I don't remember
said
specifically, but I remember him talking about
he was talking about how that he was going to be a conniving little bitch or something like that. So
that's what he said.
Conniving, conniving or something like that. But I also want to point out that he and I don't know anything about his life per se, but the what I get from him is that he's also privileged in a sense, and because let's not forget who his father is. So he's coming from greatness. He knows he's great. He's got this like air of like, I'm great. I need to be around great. And I don't know exactly what his idea of great is, which is why I worry and trying to see what his type, what is your type of great right now?
Like, is your great seeing the advance? Yeah, is your great seeing great black, like people of color advancing, or is your great being at the white man's table? Like, what is your idea of great? Because I don't know if it matches with the Big Brother fandom's idea of great there, where we would love to see you go and where your talents could be actually supported and appreciated and seen versus taken advantage of, manipulated, and stolen.
Yeah.
Do you know
which is what's happening to him right now.
Yeah, do you know how quick it took him to say to like Azah, like, oh yeah, Frenchie gets a plate at the cookout, and like why?
What has he done?
Why are you doing that?
Something that I learned recently is like, you don't know these people, like you don't know them.
Yeah.
And you're giving and you're choosing someone that you have absolutely no connection with over someone where you at least have a baseline connection with. And that's the issue where I see his problem moving forward. Like you said, Jess, like he's not his focus isn't on the cookout. His focus is him, which cool, great, wonderful. But like, is it really you? Because if it was, you'd go to where you are celebrated.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's my thing right now. It's like, why not the cookout right now? This is the most numbers that could do some really good damage. They're solid numbers. And for this not to work, it would just completely devastate me. I don't know why. It would something in my heart would just feel like, I mean, there's no hope. for any of us.
Aren't worried about numbers as much though, and that's what makes me so like. You can go to someone and be like, oh, I have numbers, I have this and that, but I feel like numbers nowadays in Big Brother don't matter because everyone's like gonna vote with the house. So he's probably thinking, yeah, this alliance is big and it's numbered, but who cares if these boys are winning HOH every week? I don't care. I don't care if they got numbers. What do they got numbers for?
Yeah.
If I'm good with them, then I'm good regardless. And it's like, that's what is like so sad. It's like, no, where are the numbers at? Where's it? Like, go play the game.
Yeah.
Go play the game with them. Let's win the game. Not continue to fall into what is normal. Voting with the house, voting with the HOH. The votes don't matter. The numbers don't matter. No, all of those things, the veto, the votes, the numbers, all of those things matter.
Yeah. I'm just happy that at least, not that I know of, anybody can correct me because I haven't been on feeds all day, that, Azah, like I mentioned, Azah has been telling Big D a lot. And that's one of the things that I'm just like, oh girl, just don't. But he hasn't, I don't think he said anything to anybody. So he's kind of, at least he's keeping his cards close to his chest to where he's not completely, just spilling information. So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that there's hope that
this good spot for him.
It's hard when
maybe
it's
he's playing the middle very well, and maybe he'll surprise us.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Maybe he'll continue to get this info from Frenchie or whatever he needs from the other side or whatever, and bring it back to the cookout and show us something that, maybe it'll surprise us, like you said, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's
for the whole
necessarily
season.
about being truthful. I don't think it's necessarily about being truthful, right? Because
Yeah.
I think like there was a lot of people. I was actually very surprised and not going back to my season, but I was very surprised to know that there were a lot of rats on in my season. Like I didn't think that I was gonna be around that many people that didn't know how to keep information to themselves, and that's why I was very tight-lipped. But a lot of the information that I got around, to getting, I didn't just necessarily spill that information until I felt like I really needed to, or till it served me. And so that's where I'm hoping, at least in this case, now we know that Frenchie is just saying however he feels at the moment, like whatever person he is thinking of that comes in the top of his head, he just just throws up that information willy-nilly to absolutely anybody who's willing to listen. But hopefully this season won't be about like a ton of rats, because I kind of see Brittany being one, I kind of see Frenchie being one, there's a few in that mix. That whole Derek, Travis, Brent situation, I feel like they're all, they all kind of just talk too much.
Yeah, it's weird because I don't even see Frenchie as a rat. I just see him as, like, he's not even that, because at least a rat has some sort of semblance of, like, what they're doing. They have some sort of reason behind what they're doing. He's just, like, whoever's in the room is who he's aligned with. It doesn't matter.
A rat gets information. Nobody's given Frenchie any information. He gives everybody else information. Like, it's the weirdest first HOH I've ever seen. Normally, first HOH, like, everyone comes to them with information and, like, deals, right? But Frenchie's handing them out to everybody. Like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
Didn't Tyler have a bunch of alliances last year?
Oh, yeah, he had final twos with everybody.
Well, yeah.
But
That's wild. That, like,
the last, 20 and 22. But no, I don't want to keep you guys all night though. But like, yeah, there's so much good conversation to be had, and this season we are all hopeful. We're hopeful with the cast. There's so many likable people on there. You've got a winner pick. There's another one waiting, because there's so many people that I would be okay with winning this game. But I don't know. It feels different. Hopefully it's different. We'll see. But like I said, I don't want to keep you guys all night. We don't want to go too late here. So, I want to say that Jess and Danielle are two of our favorite guests. We've said this before.
Yes.
And you guys are welcome back anytime, whenever you want. If we're streaming and you're like, hey, I have something to say, you come and you just let us know and we'll let you on. So we thank you guys so much for coming on and being part of our stream and being part of our All Girls Alliance. Yes.
Thank you for inviting us back.
Yes.
I always have a good time.
I know. It's always so much fun.
Yeah. I always love talking game with you ladies, and I'm so excited. Danielle, we need to like link up. I don't even know where you're.
Please do.
I don't know where you're at.
I'm in California. I'm in San Francisco, but I need to go to Chicago because Chrissy, you said you're near Chicago, right?
Yeah.
I need to go to Chicago because I haven't seen Chrissy since BB, so I need to make a trip out there anyway. So I need to come.
Wait, Chrissy lives here?
She lives in Chicago. Yeah, she's like just outside of Chicago.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I did not know that. We just like we tried to get as many people as possible yesterday for a Big Brother. I feel bad now.
No.
I didn't even know she was here. It's so hard because we don't know how many, like all the Big Brother people that, they move, they go away. That doesn't matter. It was us and we had Jess Yeager from Sequester on. Like she went because she lives in Chicago too. So it was just like a whole bunch of us. It was like 7 or 8 of us at dinner last night. So we just try to,
Yeah, that's so cool. I wish I lived by more BBP. I live by Danielle from season 3.
That is not a
That's a
bad
flag.
person
We haven't
to
linked up
be
yet.
by.
How have we not? I don't know. I still have yet to meet Danielle. I need to.
Stuff, yeah.
I can't promise an All Girls Alliance introduction for you, Danielle, because she hasn't responded. So we've tried. We've tried.
I'm gonna go to dinner and then I'm gonna get her on a Girls Alliance.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I'm surrounded by all the circle people. Everybody
Really?
lives for me.
Oh,
We-
yeah. Everyone's from Texas from the circle.
Yeah. I was in Chicago in February. If it wasn't for COVID, I would have said, hey, just
Yeah,
but it was COVID.
you need
so
to let a
I
girl-
stayed in a hotel room the whole time. I was so scared being in a big city.
Chicago is a little, I don't know how it is everywhere else, but like, I mean, it's open season here. It's like COVID never
Now,
happened. It's a little crazy. Yeah, it's a little still a little creepy for me, but I'm like, I started traveling and then I'm also going to be going to Texas for this Big Brother Canada versus Big Brother US pay-per-view event.
Me and Tracy are in Texas.
Yeah, Courtney
So-
and Tracy are both in Texas.
I'm gonna be. Wait, where in Texas are you ladies at?
I'm in Dallas. I'm gonna be where the boxing match is. I'm literally.
Tracy?
I am 15 minutes from where y'all are gonna be.
Where's the boxing?
Yes, and you need to leave.
It's
It's
near
gonna be in
Dallas.
Arlington.
It's in Arlington.
It's in
It's just south,
Arlington.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in Arlington. I'm going and I'm gonna make it a trip. My husband and my daughter are coming with me, and I'm gonna be a ring girl. So you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me with my little cards, like walking down the ring. That should be very interesting. I was like,
That's fun.
sure. So it's really fun. It's gonna be the ring girls are me, Julie Vu, and Spicy V from the from BB Canada 9, and so. I'm just like really honored that they asked, and it's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna be there for quite some time. So, yeah.
I'm in San Antonio,
Yeah.
so I don't know if I'll be driving up for that, but
You know,
Or
if not
you can
just
drive
for the
up,
party.
you can stay with me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
do it, girl. Yeah,
That's
do
amazing.
it. Absolutely, because it's gonna be a good event, and then I'll probably post all of the pay-per-view information, and then if anybody wants a link of how to watch it on pay-per-view, this is
that
gonna be a
crazy?
little interesting. Yeah, this is gonna be a little interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
it's
be
gonna
watching.
be
I gotta support Rockstar, so I'm gonna be there.
Yes.
I'm buying pay-per-view. I plan on buying it. I plan on watching everyone. I'm so excited. This is so cool. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
exciting, Jessica.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, well, just real quick before we wrap up, we do have a Discord now, so definitely check that out in our About section. You guys can check out, you can chat about Big Brother. We've been watching episodes together in there. Some people are in there right now watching the stream together. So definitely join our Discord. And then also, we are still sponsored by Garden Level Candles. If you need any candles, they're amazing. They're all soy candles, hand poured here in Lincoln, Nebraska, and they're amazing. And Courtney has one. I've got one right here too.
I have some too. And then also, we just launched our Instagram. Wow, we're on the
Yes.
Okay, do it for the
Hey.
All Girls Alliance. Go follow us. We are trying to get some Instagram fans to.
Yay! Now I can tag you guys.
Yes.
Hey.
Yes.
Here.
Definitely follow us on Instagram. And then I just want to give a really, really quick shout out to our buddy Lucas for making our graphics. He's at LukesBBXX on Twitter. He's amazing, and he made our graphics for today. So thank you, Lucas.
Thanks.
And thank you, Jess and Danielle. We hope, I'm sure that we'll see them back sometime this season.
Oh,
You guys-
absolutely.
You guys are always
Of
welcome.
course.
So we absolutely love you.
Yeah.
And have a good night. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.